A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars Episode 9 Clash of the Storm. General Leia Organa has passed. Since then Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has set his eyes on invading Naboo, determined to learn the history of his grandmother. The Resistance has taken refuge on a Gen Class to avoid First Order attacks from their lightspeed rammers built on the Triada, with the power to cut through planets. General Calrissian has assigned a small team to stop the potential onslaught. Rey has trained in the ways of Jedi with Ahsoka Tano, until she got wind of the new danger. Exterior, space. Pan down from the stars against the pitch-black vacuum. Exterior, Naboo. The camera pans down to the lush planet of Naboo, now with less land visible. The planet takes up roughly half of the screen arching from the bottom. Then the Millennium Falcon, and 3 Resistance X-Wings with green markings fly towards the planet. The camera stays behind all of these ships as they proceed and appear to shrink in the shot. Exterior, Theed, sunset. Camera spins slowly around the gorgeous city of Theed. Exterior, Theed ocean. Cut to the Millennium Falcon flying over the high flooded waters of Naboo. The water ruffles behind the ship's trail when it flies over. Exterior, Theed hangar. Beautiful marble statues and greenery on the building can be seen, as well as cyan-tinted roofs. Beside the hangar is a waterfall and several other buildings. Cut to the back view of the Millennium Falcon flying gently into the Theed hangar. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. As Chewbacca sits in the pilot's chair, he gently lands the Millennium Falcon in the hangar. The shot includes Chewbacca, Maz Kanata, Connix, and Herex sitting in the cockpit. Herex is a pale bald man around 50 years old in a standard olive-colored Resistance officer jacket and pants. The cockpit has soft shadows and beams of light that show the flying specks in the air. Maz wears burnt umber clothing and a heavy orange bead necklace. Cut to Maz Kanata. Maz. We've made it. Cut to a profile shot of Chewbacca with an excited demeanor. Chewbacca. Trills and moans. It's fantastic. Interior, Millennium Falcon landing platform Theed hangar. Chewbacca and Connix are seen walking down the Falcon's landing platform. White exhaust shoots from the underbelly of the freighter. Cut to a parked X-Wing with green markings. Camera zooms on Corran Horn as he climbs down the fighter's ladder and removes his helmet, placing it on his hip. He is an older pale human with a goatee and white temples. A female pilot with light brown skin and curly hair around the same age as him budges in and puts her arm over his shoulder. Husband and wife, Corran Horn and Marax Terex Horn. A young man known as Yolo Zif walks to them and smiles. They are the current Green Squadron. Marax. What do you think, Corran? Cut to 2 young male Naboo pilots. One with an Ivy League haircut and tan skin named Latoy Udelin, and the other is a dark-skinned man with thin dreadlocks named Kurant Udelin. On Latoy's shoulder, he has a playful pet Aerolo named Zuzu, a creature that looks like a mouse lemur with small rust-colored antlers, black fur, and silver patagia. Camera zooms out to show the whole Bravo squadron standing behind them, 10 other pilots. The uniforms they wear are more sleek and not drenched in heavy cotton fabric like in decades past. In the background, one female pilot takes a swig from a flask. Cut to Corran Horn scrunching his face as he grins. Corran. They seem just right. Cut to Herex walking away from Chewbacca and Connix at the Falcon's landing platform with a comm in his hand. He is a bit hunched over when he departs. Herex. Excuse me, I need to answer my comm. It's urgent. Cut to Connix turning her head towards the camera and nodding. Cut to the Udelin pilots happy to meet the primary guests. Latoy has his hands on his hips and Kurant removes his ebony leather piloting gloves hoping for a handshake. Connix fulfills his non-verbal wish with a firm grasp. Latoy. Hello, I'm Latoy Udelin, I'm Bravo leader. Kurant. And I'm Kurant Udelin, I'm Bravo too. Cut to a close-up of a slightly puzzled Maz Kanata. She adjusts her focusing goggles to magnify the view of both of the men. Her eyes look much larger because of it. Her goggles make clicking noises. Maz. Same surname. Cut to a POV shot of both Udelins being zoomed in through 2 lenses, there is only blackness in between. The round lenses bend the light and make the pilots look wavy. Cut to a shot of Latoy smirking. Latoy. Well, I guess you can say he's my co-pilot. Cut to Latoy's pet Aerolo staring and sniffing in profile. Zuzu is tentative. Cut to Chewbacca. Camera pans down from Chewbacca's face to his worn satchel. Cut to Zuzu jumping off Latoy's shoulder. He lands on smooth reflective ground and jumps towards the satchel. The camera follows behind Zuzu. Cut to a furious Chewbacca looking down. Chewbacca shouts, "Get away!" Cut to Zuzu embedding his nails into the satchel. Camera zooms out to show Chewbacca frantically grabbing and shaking his satchel in an attempt to get the critter off of it. Chewbacca shouts and roars, "No, that's mine!" Cut to Connix with hands on her hips. Connix, "Chewie, stop fighting with it." Cut to an annoyed Chewie with one hand on his head. His hair is now unkempt. Chewbacca trills and roars. It's his fault. Cut to Maz Kanata walking up to Chewbacca and attempting to calm him by grabbing his free hand. Maz's goggles are resting at her hairline. Maz, the creature is hungry, let him have a Lexrule biscuit. Cut to Chewbacca saddened and kneeling on the floor. Chewbacca trills and grumbles. "But it's my food, I paid for it." Cut to Maz petting the top of Chewbacca's head. Maz, "It's not worth it." Cut to Chewbacca unfastening the buckles on his satchel and tossing a hard biscuit on the floor. Zuzu chases after it and begins to nibble on it. Cut to Latoy walking forward with a smile. Latoy, Zuzu has quite the appetite. Cut to Green Squadron standing in front of the entrance of the Theed hangar. Camera shows them facing away and looking towards the watery horizon and sunset. Cut to Yolo looking in profile, brow furrowed in confusion. Yolo, why is the water so high? Cut to Corrin staring stoically. Corrin, 4 years ago humans built a base in the planet core, extremists bombed it with a hot ice explosive. Cut to Corrin's right hand slowly opening as if he was holding an orb growing in his hand. Behind his hand is an out-of-focus ocean background. Corrin continued. Crystalline orb replaced the water center, makes it all rise. Cut to Yolo with an amazed grin. Yolo, wow, hot ice. Cut to Connix walking with Kurant passing by upgraded Naboo fighters' ships, they have sharp sports car-esque folds and corners. Connix, I'm glad you agreed to help us. Cut to a shot of Connix touching one of the new Naboo fighter ships. She is impressed by the body of the vehicle. Connix's hand reflects on the yellow-painted metal like a mirror over the left wing. Connix, you have new fighters now. Kurant off-screen. The previous model was outdated, we gave them to an old vet. Cut to Latoy kneeling and allowing Zuzu to run up his arm to his shoulder. Some biscuit crumbs are left on the floor of the hangar. Camera follows the critter to Latoy's shoulder and then zooms out. The camera slowly turns to each person who speaks, Latoy to Connix and Connix to Kurant. Latoy, Gavin Sykes is a war hero who fought against the blockade. Connix, what was improved? Kurant, we now have breathable finials and a solar panel. Cut to Maz Kanata as Kurant speaks. There is perturbation in her eyes. Latoy's dialogue begins to fade after the sixth word he utters. The energy is sucked out as the camera focuses on a panicked Maz Kanata. Exterior, Theed hangar. A rectangular bomb pack ticks on the outside of the hangar, there is no sound except beeping. Interior Theed hangar. Maz Kanata dashes and grabs Chewbacca's hand. Chewbacca is surprised as Zuzu hangs from his bandolier. Exterior Theed hangar. Theed hangar begins to explode and crumble, the ceiling collapses and surrounding greenery is scorched. Interior Theed hangar. Cut to Kurant holding and sobbing over dead Latoy, a partially hidden 40-year-old underneath a massive chunk of ceiling. Dust is dense in the air, rumble clutters the shot, and blood drips from Latoy's scalp. Interior Captain Jegg's office. Front view of an Otala Gungan quickly putting on his Royal Forces uniform, he is Captain Nebuz Jeggs. We see him putting on his gloves and cap. His cap rests on the top of his ears. Captain Jeggs walks up to a circular view screen. His mother Plota D. Jeggs appears after the view screen ripples. They communicate with their hands. Captain Jeggs sign language. I need you to know that. I might die. They say Ren is going to attack. Cut to Dr. Jeggs on the view screen. Dr. Jeggs sign language. I had always feared a day like this would come. Be brave my son, you make me and our people proud. Cut to Captain Jeggs with a smirk. Captain Jeggs sign language. I love ya. Captain Jeggs suddenly stops and the force can be felt in the air. Captain Jeggs is being choked. He pries at his strangled throat as he floats off the ground, but his fate is sealed. Jeggs suffocates and then collapses to the floor. Cut to the floor. Kylo Ren walks into the room in profile, but only his boots are visible. On the heel of his boot is a small gray circle with a black nub. From there, the camera rises to battle damage Black Knight-esque armor to his buzz cut. Kylo's face twitches looking forward. Cut to Dr. Jegs on the view screen, she looks in horror at her dead son. Exterior Theed Courtyard. Kylo walks out to the Theed Court where stormtroopers are holding blasters at Queen Fonala and her handmaidens at gunpoint. Queen Fonala is a teenage girl with red hair. Cut to a close-up shot of Queen Fonala, shaking and with a broken nose. Kylo off-screen. Queen Fonala, you will tell me where the tomb of Amidala rests. Queen Fonala. Boldness will be your downfall, Ren. I will not have you desecrate my predecessor's grave. Cut to a close-up of Kylo looking down. Kylo. So be it, your usefulness is extinct. Cut to a wide shot of Ren looking down on Queen Fonala kneeling on the stone floor. Queen Fonala. Bet you feel so powerful in that armor. Kylo. I don't feel, I am. Cut to Kylo's hand igniting his fiery blade. Camera zooms out to show Kylo and Fonala in profile. Kylo plunges the saber through Queen Fonala's chest. Cut to Queen Fonala's hand falling on a small vibrant flower bed after being slain by the Supreme Leader. Cut to the handmaidens looking in horror before stormtroopers walk into the left of the frame to mow them down with blasters. Cut to Kylo walking through the streets of Theed with a legion of stormtroopers. Exterior Theed Alley. A young woman with light brown skin, freckles, and cornrows can be seen peeking behind a building wall. It is Pyrrha Sykes, the granddaughter of Gavin Sykes who hides behind a wall corner. She looks in terror. Exterior, Theed Courtyard. Kylo Ren stands in front of 5 rows of handcuffed and leg-shackled royal guards. They are scared and helpless. Kylo Ren has a First Order flame trooper on each side of him. Cut to a close-up of Ren's calm face. Kylo. Where is Amidala's tomb? Cut to the shackled royal Naboo guards. There is hesitation and murmuring in the crowd. Cut to the back of Ren, the shackled royal Naboo guards over his shoulder in the background. Initially the back of Ren's head is in focus and the guards aren't, then it switches. Kylo. No harm will come to the person who tells me. Cut to the crowd of restrained royal Naboo guards. A head nods in the crowd. Cut to a shot of Kylo Ren's gloved hand. Cut to a shot of a shackled hand as a bolt unfastens, and the light turns off on the side. Cut to a royal guard standing up. He is a middle-aged man with Asian features named Gremon Fornox. He is extremely distraught. When he speaks he shakes like a twig. Lieutenant Fornox. I swore I'd never tell a foreign power. But, I have a kid at home. Cut to Kylo looking at him with soulless eyes. Kylo. Who will join my regime? Cut to a dead silent crowd. Camera zooms in slowly over the crowd to Kylo Ren, Fornox, and the flame troopers. Kylo looks at guards before turning to a flame trooper. Kylo. Set them ablaze. Cut to Fornox crying as fire expels from flamethrowers. The only fire visible is in the reflection of Fornox's watery eyes as orange light blankets his skin and clothes. Lieutenant Fornox. No. Left to right diagonal wipe transition. Exterior, the Triada, space. The Triada is in view, the First Order's crimson-colored pyramid-shaped space station. A Lambda shuttle flies towards it starting from the bottom left corner of the screen. Interior, Lambda shuttle. Snap Wexley pilots the shuttle while wearing a Magma Trooper outfit without a helmet, which rests on the dashboard. It is black with red accents, meanwhile, the helmet has large breathing tubes. He lifts a comm device to his mouth. Snap. We have a valued asset. We're about to land. FN 43808 off-screen comm. Wait, what? Snap. I bet this will feel like home, won't it, Finn? Cut to Finn, wearing a black long-sleeve shirt and sporting a small scar on the back end of his left eyebrow. Finn. Not quite. There is a little bit of regret and disappointment in Finn's voice. Finn suits up as a Magma Trooper, helmet still off. Camera slowly zooms out to show Rose suiting up in a First Order captain's uniform across from him. Rose. You're better. Cut to a close-up of Rose putting a thumb drive in her pocket. Camera rises to her lifting her Hazian Or medallion and dropping it under her shirt. Snap off screen. Are you sure about this? Cut to Finn adjusting his Magma Trooper gloves. Finn. Enough to do it. Cut to Poe Dameron in his traditional pilot uniform stepping by holding unactivated handcuffs. He has a full short beard, the hair on his head and his face has sparse gray strands. Poe. That's been my philosophy for years. Cut to BB-8 on the floor, he bumps into Poe's leg and looks up. BB-8. Excited beeps. So, I'm joining the mission. Poe off screen. Sorry buddy, we can't bring you this time. Cut to Poe grinning in profile. Poe. Feel free to electrocute intruders. Cut back to BB-8 as R2-D2 rolls into the shot with a black paint job, the blue and white are completely covered. Cut to Rose leaning forward with a grin, adjusting her right shoe which is propped up on a crate. Rose. Crazy what a coat of paint can do. Cut to BB-8 and R2-D2. R2-D2. Beeps in agreement absolutely, I look exquisite. BB-8 starts to bow his head in disappointment. Cut to Poe using a comb to smooth over the sides of his hair. Poe. We need a pre-Empire droid for this. Cut to R2-D2. Poe off screen. R2 fits the bill. Cut to BB-8 on the ground rolling away. Cut to Snap in profile pressing a buttonhole sitting in the pilot's chair, a low-pitched noise plays after the press. Cut to the impressive First Order space station. Snap. I hate to say it, but oppressive regimes do no great architecture. Cut to Finn putting on a glove. Finn. Credits can provide anything. Cut to Poe walking past Finn and Rose. Cut to Finn who puts on the Magma Trooper helmet. Finn. Thankfully most of the First Order doesn't know your face too well. So you can go in without a helmet. Cut to Rose looking up with concern. Rose. Is my face forgettable? Cut to a shot of Finn looking down at Rose sitting, Finn stammers a bit. Finn. No, it's just that you don't arouse suspicion. Cut to Rose standing and tapping Finn's breastplate. Rose. What do I arouse? Camera quickly pans down to BB-8 turning his head towards Finn. BB-8. Comical revving noise. Say what? Cut to Finn in a stormtrooper helmet. Finn. I really wish you'd focus on the mission, instead of flirting. Rose does a puckered smile then miming swinging a lightsaber. Rose. Your plan to share a bed is far less effective. Trying to impress Rey by swinging Luke's lightsaber. Cut to Poe looking at them, his eyes going from Finn to Rose, looking suspicious. Finn. That's a practical weapon when. Poe. Guys, you know we're docked. Interior Platform 327 the Triada. A Mirielon First Order captain with slicked hair named Jern Wefor stands with his blaster forward. Space troopers are by his side. Captain Wefor. This is Captain Wefor, what is your registry number? And what did you mean by, valued asset? The camera turns clockwise past the hangar's wall into the lambda door opening with a platform letting out steam. The disguised Snap and Finn walk down the platform restraining Poe acting belligerent, flailing his bound wrists. Poe. Let go of me you First Order scum, you unoriginal goons. Cut to Captain Wefor looking surprised. Cut to Rose walking down the landing platform and standing in front of Captain Wefor. Rose fakes a high imperial voice. Rose. Greetings Captain, Lieutenant Allah. I was assigned to Sullust and there I found Dameron. Can you believe we found him selling spice? Cut to a disgusted Captain Wefor. Captain Wefor. Disgraceful, how desperate can the resistance be? Cut to Rose with raised eyebrows. Rose. You have no idea. Horizontal fall wipe transition. Exterior, Yago Minor, space. Yago Minor is a pale purple moon with dense cloud cover. Interior, mountain terrain, Yago Minor. Cut to the surface of Yago Minor. Camera takes in the view of bright violet mountains and pine trees. Exterior, Adobe Sanctuary, Yago Minor, sunrise. A large Jedi sanctuary rests on a plain of dirt and pebbles. The land has sparse puddles and one large pond. Cut to Rey in profile meditating with her legs crossed. She is wearing a blue outfit with yellow bleeds on her pants. Her shoulder burns from a fighter still present. Ahsoka off screen. Be like water, unbreakable and adaptable in all forms. Cut to an elderly Ahsoka opening her milky blind eyes. She wears a white robe and gold sash. Sage-colored feathers dangle from both of her lobes. Her wrinkles are prominent on her face and her legu are long enough to reach her feet. Rey. How can I, Master Tano? Cut to Ahsoka's hand. Ahsoka. The Force allows us the possibility to affect the material world. Cut to an overhead shot at the small pond between the Jedi. Ahsoka. We can shoot lightning, project our image across the galaxy. Cut to a close-up of Rey with eyes closed faintly twitching. Ahsoka, continued off-screen. Tell the story of objects by touch. Heal wounds, and we can even survive in a vacuum. Cut to a close-up of a small yellow lizard, a Zakoto, quickly running across the pond surface. Faint rings are left behind. Ahsoka, continued off-screen. The universe is at the beckoning of the Force. It's all in how you harness your connection. After Ahsoka speaks, she uses the Force to make the pond water form into a liquid orb, causing the Zakoto to jump away. The light of the sun nearly makes it look as if it is glowing. Cut to Rey meditating, her brow furrows. Rey. I know those, I've all read the ancient Jedi texts. But they don't mention being like water. Cut to Ahsoka in profile and her eyes closed. Ahsoka. You're focused on attack and not the nature, the faith, or the philosophy. Cut to Rey. Rey. Your master was no different. Cut to an ants-eye view of Ahsoka meditating. Ahsoka. Don't let the protection of your friends make you a weapon to simply destroy. Cut to Rey's lap holding the repaired Skywalker lightsaber. The handle now sports a leather strap and welded burns. Rey. The Resistance is counting on me. I can't let Skywalker's sacrifice be for nothing. Cut to Ahsoka. Ahsoka. Galvanizing the galaxy wasn't for nothing. If you want to save the Resistance, you must turn Ren's soul. Cut to Rey beginning to cry and her voice becomes shaky. The vein in her neck tightens before she speaks. Rey. Impossible. If I see him, I'll end him. No different than stormtroopers have had to kill. I don't take happiness in it, but that is the ugliness of war. I will do what I must. Cut to Ahsoka stroking her chin. Ahsoka. Wasn't Finn a stormtrooper? Cut to Rey standing up and walking away from the camera. Clockwise wipe transition. Exterior. Streets of Theed, Naboo, night. Maz, Connix, and Kurant walk through the dimly lit streets, hiding against a large brick wall with bandages on their bodies. They are caked in dust and Connix has dried blood on her neck. Maz Kanata's necklace is gone and her goggles are shattered. Maz. Thank you for the bandages. Kurant. Good thing I kept that med kit, fate was in our favor. Interior Theed City staircase. Maz, Connix and Kurant crouch and run around a marble pillar. Kurant. We must hide in the shadows for safety. We will use their assumptions of our deaths to our advantage. Moshe. You're a great leader, Kurant. Cut to Kurant with sad eyes. Kurant. Latoy was better. Cut to Maz, Connix and Kurant walking down a ramp-like staircase between vertical right triangle brick walls that lead to a door at the end. Over the walls is flat land with stone housing. Maz. Where are we going? Kurant. Gavin Sykes has old ships. Go down to the catacombs, they have an untraceable code. Cut to Connix peering over Kurant's shoulder with worry. Connix. What happened to Chewie, is he? Cut to Maz with her eyes closed. Maz. No, I can hear his heart. Cut to Connix in motion profile walking alongside the brick wall behind them. Connix. Who would attack the hangar? Cut to Kurant's boots carefully stepping down the brick floor to avoid creating loud noises. Kurant. Probably that new guy you brought. You think it's a coincidence that he had an urgent call before it all exploded. Cut to Connix with a confused look. Connix. Harex was a protege of Crix Madine. He brought records of his New Republic service. Kurant off screen. Probably stolen, letting an old war hero name to manipulate you. Maybe he took Chewbacca away. Cut to Maz turning head downward, she senses something. Cut to Maz, Kurant and Connix freezing against the wall because they hear footsteps. The camera quickly rises to reveal the back of a stormtrooper. Exterior, Theed Street. First Order Patrol Trooper FN 52444 holds his blaster with a mounted lit flashlight towards the camera. FN 52444. Hold it. Cut to Pyrrha Sykes with her open hands to her shoulders. She looks downward so she doesn't look into the bright light pointed at her face. She is wearing a backpack. Pyrrha. Yes, officer, sir. Cut to Pyrrha and FB-5244 facing each other in profile, blaster still pointed at the young woman. FN-52444. Don't you know Supreme Leader Ren has issued a curfew? Pyrrha, off-screen. No, I wasn't made aware. Cut to Pyrrha's hands behind her head. The shot reveals a pipe sticking out of the partially open zipper of her backpack. FN-52444, off-screen. If you don't return home now you will be punished. Cut to Pyrrha, camera slowly zooms to a close-up of her eyes, her right twitches. Pyrrha. My great-grandfather is behind here, just past the stairs over there. Interior Theed City staircase. Camera focuses on Maz's worried face. Pyrrha, off-screen. I needed to get medicine for him, we live together. Cut to an ants-eye view of FN-52444 speaking to Pyrrha. FN-52444. Fine, I'll escort you. Camera follows Pyrrha and FN-52444 walking through an empty passage and turning down a dark staircase. The same one that has Maz, Courant, and Connix hiding in it. Cut to Courant's right hand, gradually pulling a knife from his boot. All that can be heard is the echoing footsteps and the faint unsheathing of the sharp knife from leather. Cut to Courant's face as he sweats, he anxiously breathes as the echoing footsteps get louder. Cut to a quick throw of the knife, a blur in the air. The knife goes deep into the latex-covered neck of FN-52444. Cut to FN-52444 falling to his knees while coughing, his blaster drops as well. Cut to an overhead shot of the stormtrooper, dead on the ground. A gurgle sound escapes the stormtrooper. Cut to Connix who is shell-shocked. Cut to Pyrrha with a furrowed brow and an impressed frown. Pyrrha. That was impressive, Courant. Close-up of Courant's determined face. Courant. Pyrrha, we need the bunker, it's our only hope. Iris open wipe transition. Exterior Irizio mechanic shop, Yago Minor Forest, sunset. Rey briefly examines hyperdrives on a table while wearing a poncho. She exhales deeply and taps on one. She is in an open-air mechanic shop with a variety of ships in the distance. Rey. This one. Cut to Iriazo turning around, a female Covenite. She has skin that's crocodile-like and has white silky hair in her wide brim hat. Iriazo. Of course, sugar. Cut to Rey and Iriazo at both sides of the table. Iriazo. Why the long face? Rey. The galaxy rests on my shoulders. Cut to Iriazo putting a tool to the hyperdrive. Her eyes squint. Iriazo. So you need this to go to your next battle? Ahsoka too ornery. Cut to Rey tossing her hand with a subtle scowl on her face. Rey. I guess, it's not what I wanted. I want this all to be over, but it all seems perpetual and pointless. Cut to Iriazo walking around the table to hug Rey. Iriazo. Doing what we can for the next generation, that is worth it. Forge your own path. Cut to Rey wiping away a tear in Iriazo's shadow. Rey. Thank you, Iriazo. Cut to Iriazo carrying the hyperdrive and placing it in a massive floating minecart. Iriazo. You need to take better care of your ship. It's a hike to my shop if you can't run a vehicle. Almost night 2. Cut to Rey pushing the floating minecart with her force powers and waving to Iriazo with an embarrassed shrug. Rey. May the force be with you. Diagonal blinds left to right wipe transition. Interior Amidala's tomb, underground. Kylo Ren and Hux walk down a dark staircase in a lifeless catacomb. The room is illuminated with the red of Ren's saber. General Hux. Hopefully this goes better than your raid on the Lars homestead, where the Knights of Ren were eaten by a crate. Cut to Kylo turning abruptly to Hux with fury in his eyes. Kylo. This shall be my mark of greatness. The inhabitants will bow to my feet. Cut to Hux while speaking with a snarl in his voice. General, Hux. Why did you bring me here? I should be on the surface with my men. Cut to Kylo in profile walking through the tunnel. Kylo. You act as if they can't accomplish anything without you. Cut to Hux holding a lit spotlight glow rod over his head. His eyes are hidden in shadow. Cut to Kylo's hand on Padme's stone coffin. Kylo waves his hand and the cement top of the casket is removed with the force. Cut to Padme's skeleton lying in the tomb, her left hand resting on her right with a Japor snippet necklace between them. The clothes are depressed over bones, but still vibrant. Some curly ribbon strands lay next to her skull at the bottom. Cut to Kylo kneeling by the tomb with wide somber eyes. Cut to a close-up on the Japor snippet. Kylo's bare hand softly touches the string of the Japor snippet necklace. Cut to Kylo with tense shut eyes. Kylo has a vision. Exterior, outside of Anakin's slave quarters, Tatooine. Kylo Ren walks in the desert sand as the camera rotates counterclockwise and young Anakin walks with Qui-Gon Jinn. Cut to Kylo with a surprised look. Young Anakin, replayed audio, off-screen. I can't do it, Mom. Will I ever see you again? Cut to a saddened child Anakin with his mother Shmi kneeling to his eye level to speak. Shmi, replayed audio. What does your heart tell you? Fade to white. Interior, main hold of the Queen's Royal Naboo ship. Kylo stands across from his grandparents sitting across from each other in their youth. Young Anakin, replayed audio. I made this for you, so you'd remember me. Cut to young Padme holding the Japor necklace in her hands. Young Padme, replayed audio. It's beautiful. I don't need this to remember you by. Fade to black. Exterior, Mustafar landing port. Ren stands with a volcano behind him. Cut to a tearful and pregnant Padme. She can be seen speaking with pain in her heart to her husband Anakin. Padme, replayed audio. Because of what you've done, what you plan to do. Cut to Kylo Ren falling to his knees in a dark void. Then he begins to scream and be tortured. Cut to flashes of old Anakin scenes. When Shmi died in his arms, when he decapitated a Tusken Raider, when he knelt at his mother's grave, when he knelt before the Emperor. When before he killed younglings and when Padme was force-choked and Anakin on fire while next to a Mustafarian lava river. Cut to Hux outside of the vision reaching for his blaster and pointing it at Ren. Cut to Hux firing the blaster bolt but it is stopped in front of Kylo Ren's face. His head is in profile and his eyes are still closed. Cut to Hux's face wrought with fear. Cut to the floor as the flashlight falls and the light turns off allowing the blaster bolt's red aura to illuminate the area. Cut to Ren's face in red. He looks forward and the blaster bolt crackles directly in front of his forehead. Cut to the red bolt running backwards to Ren's chest in profile. Hux collapses in the darkness, and Ren's footsteps can be heard. Horizontal fall wipe transition. Interior, Platform 1138 the Triada. Bird's eye view next to a TIE Sentinels hanging from the ceiling by mechanical hooks. Captain Wefor speaks to Rose in the center of the platform at a distance. Disguised Finn and Snap can be seen in the top left corner of the screen escorting Poe. Captain Wefor. This way Lieutenant Dalla, to the briefing barracks. Cut to Rose standing behind Captain Wefor while he walks towards the camera. Rose. Excuse me Captain, but I need to go to the vac tube. Captain Wefor stops, turns around to face Rose. Captain Wefor. A latrine visit, down that corridor to the right. Cut to a close-up of Rose briefly frozen before nodding in partial profile. Cut to Rose patting her leg twice in the foreground as R2-D2 rolls to her in the background. Rose. Come on, R11. Cut to Captain Wefor with a raised eyebrow. Captain Wefor. Why do you need an astromech to use a washroom? Cut to a close-up of paint-coated R2-D2 worried. R2-D2. Robotic whimper. Oh no. Cut to a close-up on Rose's darting eyes. Cut to Captain Wefor walking closer to Rose. Cut to Rose scratching her left palm, her voice becomes shaky. Rose. It's an emotional support droid. My anxiety will lead to me having bumpier skin than a Rodian. Cut to Captain Wefor with his eyes closed. His face loosens up and he relaxes the more he speaks. Captain Wefor. Sorry, I asked. I'll have some calf till you come back. Interior, hallway, the Triada. Finn and Snap dressed as stormtroopers escort Poe Dameron down an octagonal hallway. Cut to a shot of a pair of mechanically reinforced doors guarded by two common First Order space troopers, FN 34808 and FN 22701. Cut to Finn, Snap, and Poe walking towards the camera. Cut to a close-up of FN 34808 walking in profile to Finn. He has a crack over the nose of his helmet. FN 34808. What are your numbers and roles? FN 34808 walks past Finn while he speaks to him in his white armor completely obscuring the view of the camera. Cut to FN22701 with a data pad. Cut to Finn gesture with his right armored hand. Finn. I'm FN30460 and this is FN55. Under the order of Wefor, we're putting Dameron into a holding cell. Cut to Poe Dameron with a cold stare, camera turns to Finn. Finn. He will go before the Absolution Assembly Tribunal for treason and terrorism. Cut to a close-up of FN34808 leaning into Poe Dameron's face, both men are in profile. FN34808. Let a laser guillotine remove his pretty head. Poe Dameron throws his head forwards as he spits on the eye lens of FN34808's helmet. Cut to FN22701 turning away from what he just witnessed. Cut FN34808 punching Poe's chin, Poe falls to the ground. Poe sits up against the hallway wall and spits blood on the ground. He shakes his head and chuckles softly to himself. Cut to FN34808 rubbing Poe's spit off his helmet before aggressively jumping towards Poe. Finn. He must serve trial, you are not an executioner. FN34808 becomes less tense and he slaps Finn's breastplate. FN34808. You know, you sound like a trooper I met on Starkiller. Cut to Poe looking up in fear, blood is still visible on his lip as he rests on the floor. Cut to Finn rigidly turning to FN34808, he has a nervous scoff. Finn. I was never stationed there, you saw what happened to the other super lasers. The camera turns to FN34808. He paused briefly before shrugging and speaking. FN34808. I guess some of us are bound to sound similar. Interior, Cell 1138 First Order Prison Barracks, the Triada. Poe sits slumped in the cell on a minimalist bed that is merged to the wall. Camera zooms out to show the red laser gate wall. Cut to FN34808 and FN27701 walking beside Finn and Snap outside of the holding cell facility. FN34808. Cut to FN34808 and FN27701 walking beside Finn and Snap outside of the holding cell facility. FN34808. You've never been on the Triada. Cut to Finn in profile looking through a window. Finn. No, until now we were always ground troopers. FN34808, off-screen. So where are you two from? Finn. A colony on Numidian Prime. Interior, First Order Prison Barracks, the Triada. Snap looks at the ground, head in profile. Snap. Jeddah. Cut to FN27701 holding a datapad in the foreground as Finn and Snap are in the background. Initially the foreground is in focus and the background is out of focus, then it flips. Cut to Poe slumped on the cell bed as he rolls his eyes. Cut to FN27701 in profile. He brings his datapad to his hip. FN27701. The camera stays behind all of these ships as they proceed and appear to shrink in the shot. You aren't that old, right? Feed. Sunset. Cut to Snap turning his head. Camera spins slowly around the gorgeous city of Feed. It took my parents as a exterior. Feed Ocean. Cut to an overhead shot of Millennium Falcon flying over the high flooded waters of Naboo. And FN27700 ship's trail when it flies over. FN27701. Exterior. Feed hangar. Why'd you join this side then? Beautiful marble statues and greenery on the building can be seen, as well as cyan tinted roofs. FN34808. Beside the hangar is a waterfall and several other buildings. Don't play therapist. Cut to the back view of the Millennium Falcon flying gently into the 27701 is from Naboo. Interior. Millennium Falcon to Finn in profile turning away from the window. Sits in the pilot's chair, he gently lands the Millennium Falcon in the hangar. Interior. Gavin's home kitchen, Chewbacca, Maz Kanata, Gavin's home kitchen wall is decorated with diamond tiles. Pyrrha's hand reaches a pale bald man around 50 years old in a standard olive-colored resistance officer jacket and pants. Cut to Pyrrha in profile with shadows and beams of light that show the flying specks in the wall turning horizontally. Maz wears burnt umber clothing and a heavy orange bead necklace. Cut to Karant as the growl begins to die down. Maz. We've made it. In profile. Cut to a profile shot of Chewbacca with an excited demeanor. What's Chewbacca? Cut to Pyrrha walking past the opened wall. It's fantastic. Pyrrha. Interior. You mustn't yell or use X landing platform. There's a big creature in there. Chewbacca and Connix are seen walking down the Falcon's landing platform. Interior. White exhaust shoots from the underbelly of the freighter. Maz, Connix, to a parked X-wing with green markings. Walk down a dark and steep walkway. Camera zooms on Corin Horn as he climbs down the fighter's ladder and removes his helmet, placing it on his hip. A deep bellow echoes in the area. He is an older pale human with a goatee and white temples. Face in complete terror. A female pilot with light brown skin and curly hair around the same age as him budges in and puts her arm over his shoulder. Don't let the fear consume you. Husband and wife. Cut to Conix closing her eyes and calming herself. A young man known as YOLO Ziff walks to them and smiles. Right to left white transition. The current green squadron. Interior. Mirax. Carbon freezing. Cloud City. Cut to two young males behind a man as he walks down a staircase one with an Ivy League haircut and tan skin named Latoy Udelin. Camera stops as he walks around with a thin dreadlocks named Kurant Udelin. He wears an orange samurai-esque helmet. On Latoy's shoulder, he has a playful pet shadows against orange light and the haunting noises of like a mouse lemur with small rust-colored antlers. Cut to an overhead shot of Chewbacca frozen in carbonite lying on the freezing chamber floor. Zooms out to show the whole Bravo squadron standing behind them. Cloud City landing platform. The uniforms they wear are more sleek and not drenched in heavy profile with a floating carbon throws Chewbacca from right to left. In the background, one female pilot lying dead on the ground. Cut to the camera following the bounty hunter walking into his ship and then resting in his pilot's seat in the cockpit. They seem just right. Cut to Herax walking away from Chewbacca and Conix at the Falcon's landing man as he removes his helmet in his hand. It's Herax. He is a bit better known by his given name Mace Towani. Herax. RQ-700. I need to answer my comm. It's urgent. RQ-700. Cut to Conix turning her head toward the camera voice walking past the frozen Chewbacca towards the pilots happy to meet the primary guests. Camera follows behind a man as he walks down a staircase to an active carbon freezing chamber. Camera stops as he walks around the freezing chamber. He wears an orange samurai-esque helmet. The room has shadows against orange light and the haunting noises of freezing carbonite. Cut to an overhead shot of Chewbacca frozen in carbonite lying on the freezing chamber floor. Exterior. Cloud City landing platform. First Order stormtroopers walk with a masked man in profile with a floating carbon froze Chewbacca from right to left. Cut to Lobot lying dead on the ground. Cut to the camera following the bounty hunter walking into his ship and then resting in his pilot's seat in the cockpit. Interior. The Sindel. Close-up of the masked man as he removes his helmet. It's Herax, or better known by his given name Mace Towani. RQ-700. Towani. Cut to RQ-700, a clear-plated RQ droid with a feminine voice walking past the frozen Chewbacca towards the cockpit. Cut to Mace Towani who sits and places his boots on the dashboard, next to a display holding a broken ring. Mace Towani. Yes, RQ-700. Cut to RQ-700's paw as she pets Chewbacca's carbonite-encased face with her transparent robotic fingers. RQ-700. We should tear off his flesh. Cut to a close-up of Mace Towani with an irritated look. Mace Towani. If you want a cut, you better ignore your bloodlust. Cut to RQ-700 looking down to the camera. RQ-700. Too bad. Cut to Mace Towani in profile fiddling with switches and buttons on the cockpit, now sitting up in the pilot's seat. Mace Towani. Ren just wants him frozen to divide the resistance in a rescue attempt. The camera turns so Mace is facing towards it. Then the camera quickly zooms out to show the whole cockpit, going through the glass, to outside of the ship over its nose. Exterior. Cloud City landing platform. Mace Towani's sharp and pale pink freighter, the Sindel, rises over the docking bay. The ship bolts through the sunset cloud at light speed and it leaves behind a subtractive tunnel in the air. Iris open wipe transition. Exterior. Ray's camp, Yago Minor Badlands, night. Ray sits in a coat in front of a campfire with a suspended cooking pot and a kettle. Behind her are her tent and the mine cart with the hyperdrive. The camera slowly zooms in on Ray as she eats legumes from a metal plate with a spoon. She suddenly stops when she hears a noise in the distance. Cut to Ray's metal plate and spoon landing on the rocky floor. Cut to Ray's eyes looking side to side. Cut to Ray's hands grabbing her lightsaber from the leather strap on her hip. Cut to a mining chisel tip arrow speeding towards the camera. Cut to quickly turning and firmly holding her ignited lightsaber in front of her to slice the arrow in half. Cut to a male Holig named Lainez, a humanoid creature with the head of a ghost shark, who rides on the back of an oarback. He wears overalls and a mustard coat. While Lainez charges forward he reels another arrow on his bow. Cut to Ray as she flips over her campfire right before the second arrow lands in the ground where she previously was. Cut to Lainez still charging on his steed putting his bow and arrow aside to grab his magnetic wand from over his shoulder. Cut to Lainez's hand with the magnetic wand in the foreground bobbing whilst riding the oarback and Ray's tent and her hyperdrive resting in the minecart in the background. The magnetic wand makes an electrical noise. Cut to the hyperdrive being pulled by magnetism front right to left and briefly eclipsing light of the campfire. Cut to Ray's hand. Cut of Lainez in profile being pulled off his oarback and rolling behind the minecart. He grunts as he slams into it. Cut to Ray's boots sprinting before she leaps away. Cut to Ray landing on top of the hyperdrive in the minecart with a lightsaber in her right hand. Lainez is startled against the minecart. Cut to Lainez's hand gripping his bow. Cut to Lainez's worried face next to Ray's blue saber blade. Ray, off screen. You don't need to do this. Lainez's face sours. Lainez. I'm not leaving empty-handed. Cut to a profile of Lainez's arm swinging his magnetic wand from his shoulder to the ground. The device makes a noise. Cut to the Skywalker saber flying out of Ray's hand. The camera follows as it moves downward in slow motion. Cut Ray in slow motion panicked as she reached downward. Cut to a profile shot of Ray on the hyperdrive as it teeters forward in the minecart. Ray loses in balance and begins falling on the other side of the minecart in slow motion. Cut to the lightsaber exploding again, letting out a bright light and flare sound. Cut to Ray kneeling in profile behind the crate that pushes her several feet away from the explosion that illuminates the area. Cut to the campfire being blown out. Cut to Lainez the darkness lying on the ground with glowing sear marks on the right side of his head. Cut to Ray walking to him, towards the camera. There is dust on her face and she holds her shoulder. The horizon is slightly brighter behind her. The camera pans down to the lightsaber on the dry ground shattered and scorched, more than it ever was. Ray kneels in front of the destroyed lightsaber. Cut to Ray petting the top of the hyperdrive. Cut to Ray with a saddened smirk and exhaling. Diagonal wipe transition right to left. Interior, Command Center, the Triada. Rose and R2-D2 emerge from a sliding door. Rose is noticeably nervous. The camera zooms out quickly to reveal a room with dozens of first-order technicians doing various tasks at a series of computers and cubicles. Cut to Rose and R2-D2 going to a cubicle as technicians with data pads walk past them. Cut to a computer monitor with a blank greenish screen. It jitters and it lights up with a security screen in Arabic. Cut to Rose looking down from her seat at the cubicle. Cut to R2-D2 rolling so he can hack the computer. Cut to the security screen disappearing from the monitor. Cut to a close-up of Rose's hand as she inserts a thumb drive in the port slot. Cut to Rose looking side to side in case a first-order member. Cut to the computer monitor showing a 3D model of first-order prison barracks. It has 2 red dots in the hallways and 1 in cell 1138. Interior, cell 1138 first-order prison barracks, the Triada. Poe sits on the bed and the cell camera zooms in on his boot which has a small tracking device on the leather tongue. Cut to PA, system on the wall. Rose, PA, system. FN 22701, you are on feeding and handling the Hairgen duty. Cut to FN 34808 pointing at FN 22701, Finn is behind him. FN 34808, haha, have fun with that. I like to hear her cry when I starve her. Cut to FN 22701 in profile tossing his datapad on a table. FN 22701. This is so unfair. Finn. I'll accompany you. Interior, Command Center, the Triada. The computer monitor in front of Rose can be seen reflecting FN 22701 and Finn leaving the prison barracks. Cut to Rose looking down at R2-D2 in the foreground as he hacks the computer. Cut back to the computer monitor. A clicking noise plays as the surveillance footage becomes static. Cut to a close-up shot of Rose holding a comm to her face. Rose. Snap, no blaster. Interior, First Order Prison Barracks, the Triada. A disguised Snap nods his head with hand to his ear. Cut to Snap walking to FN 34808 while holding his blaster as if he's offering it to him. Snap. FN 34808, can you check my weapon? I think the safety latch is melted. Cut to FN 34808 looking downward at the blaster. Cut to Snap in profile swiftly reeling back the blaster like a bat then striking FN 34808 in the head. Cut to FN 34808 landing face down on the floor. Snap. Blaster. Cut to cell 1138's electric cage vanishing and Poe stepping out with a smug smile. Poe. Took long enough, old man. Cut to FN 22701 unconscious on the ground. Snap. Put on his armor. Camera quickly rises to Poe. Poe. Too small, I couldn't fit it even if I were 13 again. Cut to Snap. Snap. Stay here, keep watch. Interior, Hallway 23 Lab Testing Room, the Triada. Finn and FN-2201 walk past a lab-clear testing room with hazmat suit scientists examining a steatite ampule on a table. Interior, Lab Testing Room, the Triada. A hazmat suit scientist's gloved finger wipes away black slime. Interior, Hallway 23 Lab Testing Room, the Triada. Finn slowly turns his head with concern. Finn. FN 27701, off-screen. They have it covered. Exterior, Hairgen Cage, the Triada. Cut to Finn walking down the animal cell corridor with a Hairgen, a giant foul bird with 3 eyes and a gray body. Cut to FN 27701 taking his helmet off. He's a young man with a ginger buzz cut and pale skin. FN 27701. I hate this station. Cut to Finn. Finn. Why do you work for them, on the Triada I mean? Interior, Hairgen Cage, the Triada. The Hairgen's talons scratch cell making an echoing noise in the foreground, the FN 27701's back is in the background. Exterior, Hairgen Cage, the Triada. FN 22701 removes his stormtrooper armor, he looks up. FN 27701. I was living on the street with my daughter. This was the only opportunity I had. Cut to Finn. Finn. But the First Order eradicated Hosnian Prime, evaporating billions. Cut to Finn across from FN 27701. FN 27701. I live in reality, not in a fantasy. They will rule the galaxy and I want to see my kid eat. Finn. What if I told you there was a better way? Interior, Lightspeed Rammer Construction Room, the Triada. Snap walks past Lightspeed Rammers. Camera rises to show dozens of stormtroopers in the complex construction atrium. Cut to Snap pulling a bomb from a compartment from his belt. Cut to Snap placing the bomb under a Lightspeed Rammer. Snap. I have a bad feeling about this. Finn, earpiece. Have faith. Exterior, Hairgen Cage, the Triada. Finn and FN 22701 stand across from each other, now both wearing padded First Order Animal Trainer Trooper uniforms. FN 27701. I want in, I can help you. But me and my baby needs refuge. Cut to Finn in profile. Snap. Earpiece. Don't trust him, Finn. Finn. The Force tells me differently. Cut to Finn shooting out the security camera in the corner of the room. Cut to Finn removing his helmet and looking at the camera. Finn. What's your civilian name or were you taken like me? Cut to FN 27701. FN 27701. Asbel. Call me Asbel. Cut to Finn turning a gear dial to open the Hairgen cage, the creature begins to walk out and lets out a mighty screech. Interior, Command Center, the Triada. Rose in profile, she frantically removes all traces of her activity on the computer. When she finishes she turns away from the cubicle and the camera briefly follows her until she bumps into Captain Wefor. Captain Wefor. This isn't a washroom, follow me Lieutenant Dalla. Cut to Rose looking up, her heart races. Interior, Wefor's office, the Triada. Open on a taxidermy baby Hairgen resting in a glass dome on Wefor's office desk, camera zooms out to Wefor sitting behind the desk. Cut to Rose looking forward with disgust. Captain Wefor, off-screen. Tell me about the resistance. Rose. I'll never sabotage our movement, especially to a repulsive person like you. Cut to Captain Wefor with a devious smile. Captain Wefor. You keep looking at her son, it makes you angry. But you're no better. Cut to Rose and Wefor across from each other, the taxidermy Hairgen is placed right between them. Captain Wefor. How many innocent people have your fighters shot, tortured, and evaporated? But who cares, difference in ideology. Cut to Rose with fury in her eyes, until she processes what he said. Her face softens. Exterior, Hairgen cage, the Triada. Finn places his hand on his ear. Finn. Poe, hide back in your cell. The Hairgen is going on a rampage. Interior, Cell 1138 First Order Prison Barracks. Poe hides under the prison cell bed with worry, after the Hairgen footsteps thunder nearby he whispers into his earpiece in his hand. Poe. You don't say. Cut to the door of the prison cell as FN34808 begins running in terror before being slammed in the floor by the Hairjin's feet. FN34808. No, no, no. I promise I'll never. FN34808 gets pulled away out of the frame by the Hairjin and then there's a loud crunch noise. Cut to Poe petrified as the booming footsteps continue. Interior, Lightspeed Rammer Construction Room, the Triada. Snap Wexley hides behind a cargo container and he exhaustedly removes his stormtrooper helmet, face drenched in sweat. Snap. How do they do this every day? Snap put his hand to his ear while using the other to hold a bomb in the other. Snap. Poe, do you have a getaway vehicle ready? Poe, earpiece. We don't wear roses and we are busy with the big bird. Snap. Damn it. Snap frustratingly tosses the bomb to the ground and panics, the bomb doesn't explode. Cut to a stormtrooper turning his head holding a blaster. FN3005. Step away from the bombs. Cut to Wexley being shot in the chest, Snap's life isn't for long. Snap. He got me good, I won't let them win. Cut to Snap's blaster pointing at a bomb previously tossed down. Exterior, Cell 1138 First Order Prison Barracks. Poe walks through the hallway but starts to freeze in dread. Poe. Don't do it. Snap. It's been a ride, bet. His earpiece crackles from an explosion, and Poe sheds a tear. Then there is a loud thud, the whole floor shakes, leading Poe to tumble. Interior, Weffer's office, the Triada. Weffer's office shakes causing the taxidermy Hairjin glass to shatter, the dry body cracks. Cut to Rose crying over the taxidermy body. Cut to a close-up of the mother's dilating eye. Cut to Weffer stumbling to Rose, pointing a blaster towards her. Captain Weffer. You did this, didn't you? Cut to Rose leaning into the blaster barrel in profile. Rose. Leading Poe to do it 1,000 times over. Cut to Rose stabbing Weffer's foot with a glass shard. Cut to Weffer reeling in pain before Rose tackles him and they tussle. Interior, Triada corridor. Finn, Poe and Asbel run down a corridor before hiding behind a pillar. Finn hands Asbel a cloaked binary beacon. Finn. Stay here, conceal this beacon. No matter where we are we can find one another. Asbel. I will, they won't know I'm with you. Poe. Rose please answer. Interior, Weffer's office, the Triada. Rose's comm is on the ground. Poe, comm, continued. I need to know you're breathing. Weffer has Rose in a headlock, they are both against a wall as she struggles. Rose. Trying my best to. Rose bites his thumb and she is able to escape his hold. Cut to Weffer punishing the back of Rose's head and making her fall. Weffer walks to the blaster on the ground and points it at Rose. Weffer pauses when he hears an odd noise. The mother Hairjin's beak cracks through the floor under Weffer's feet, she pulls down Weffer in one fell swoop. After a crunch there is a burp. Rose looks in horror as the silhouetted form of the mother Hairjin climbs into the office. Cut to the Hairjin looking down at her dead taxidermy son. Cut to Rose grabbing the comm off the ground before running out of the room into a hallway, the camera follows her as she puts the comm to her mouth. Rose. Going to find us a new getaway, make a distraction at the platform 327. Cut to Rose kneels down to a miniature droid prison to free R2-D2. When R2 rolls Rose stands back up. R2-D2. Multiple beeps. Don't tell BB-8 I got caught. Poe, calm. We can't afford another loss like Snap. Wait, you killed Weffer. Rose. Hairjin lunch. Interior, Triada corridor. Poe puts a comm device to his with a smile. Poe. BB-8, it's your time to shine, buddy. Exterior, Ray's Esh-Wing, Yago Minor. Ray walks in the dry grasslands to her old Esh-Wing ship with big-eyed diminutive creatures with curly gray fur known as Snivellans. They are touching the ship like curious children and speak an alien language. Ray's droid C-14B is set in the droid seat of the ship waving her appendages. Snivellans wear bright red silk clothes, men have patterned tunics and pants, women wear full-body outfits with headscarves. Cut to a close-up of C-14B in the droid seat. C-14B. Robotic murmurs. Yeah, Ray and I took out a whole platoon on Tunab. Cut to a close-up Ray looking at them perplexed, one tear streak can be seen over her cheek. Camera pans down sharply to Rey's belt, which has a distinctive echoey chirping holoprojector from the Old Republic era. Cut to Rey answering a hologram of Poe Dameron, palm facing the sky. He is on the run and panicked from a bust-up view. Poe. Yeah, Rey, we could use your help on the Triada. We're being chased by a man-eating chicken. Cut to Rey looking at the projection in front of her. Rey. I'll be there, I promise. The projection recedes into the device and the blue glow fades off Rey. The camera zooms out as Rey puts the holoprojector back onto her belt and she walks forward. Cut to a horizon with Rey's parked Ash-wing in the foreground and distant mountains in the background. Force Ghost Luke appears beside the ship. Ghost Luke. Rey. Cut to Rey who walks past Force Ghost Luke. Rey. I don't want to do this. Cut to Rey climbing up the ladder of the Ash-wing, she barely acknowledges her previous master. Ghost Luke. You must turn my nephew back to the light and save the galaxy. Rey sits in the cockpit, the transparisteel canopy is wide open. She turns her head and looks downward at the camera. Rey. I didn't ask for this. It's been thrust in my lap, the expectation. But I'm not you. If Ren is dead, that's one less genocidal man. Camera slowly zooms in on Rey's face. Rey. I need to save my friends. Cut to Ghost Luke in profile. Ghost Luke. If my nephew dies at your hands, you will be the new Ren. By falling to the dark side. Cut to a close-up of Rey's left hand pressing a button in the Ash-wing's cockpit. The ship's engine starts. Rey. How many casualties have we racked up? I'll take my chances for the greater good. Cut to Ghost Luke with a sorrowful look. The Ash-wing canopy window door closes, the ship rises, and the ship slowly flies away. On the ground, the Snevellans fail to jump and grab the fighter while it departs. C1, 4B. Loud murmurs. Cut to Force Ghost Luke vanishing. Iris open wipe transition. Interior, Platform 327 the Triada. Finn and Poe get caught in exchange of blaster fire. BB-8 rolls to them unscathed. Poe Dameron runs holding BB-8. Until he begins to float. Poe. No, they turned off the artificial gravity. Cut to Space Trooper FN 40029, who propels himself with his jetpack and points his blaster at Poe. FN 40029. Stay still, flyboy. Cut to Rey's Ash-wing bolting into the docking bay. The vehicle's nose slams into FN 40029's chest. The canopy slowly opens when the stormtrooper is launched off-screen. Cut to a shot of FN 40029 floating unconscious, his chest plate is shattered. The plastoid shell bits drift off him. Rey comes out of the cockpit and begins to stumble from a lack of gravity. She uses the force to pull herself back to her ship. Cut to Rey's feet placed on a leather cushion of her Ash-wing. Cut to Rey standing on the seat of her cockpit, holding her lightsaber. The new yellow blade inches from her face. Cut to Finn with a perplexed face. Finn. It's yellow now. Cut to C1, 4B in the droid compartment turning her head in a full circle. C1, 4B. Muffled noise. Wow. Cut to FN 1162 coming for Rey like a missile flying with his jetpack. FN 1162 shoots his blaster toward the camera 3 times in a row. He is a large man with a gruff voice. FN 1162. You won't get away with that. Cut Rey deflecting each bolt with her personalized lightsaber. Cut to Poe floating in the hangar, he mimics a breaststroke swim until he grabs his droid. Poe answers a comm while still clinging onto BB-8. Rose. Me and Finn are coming in a TIE Sentinel now. Rey pushes herself off the Ash-wing seat and she bullets her body saber first into FN 1162's blaster, slicing it in half. Cut to Rey's Ash-wing. The Ash-wing drifts near the Lambda shuttle. Cut to Rey holding her lightsaber to the trooper's helmet. Rey. Surrender. The TIE Sentinel comes through, entering the docking bay. The landing platform opens. BB-8 shoots out a cable that attaches to the TIE Sentinel, he reels himself and Poe to the ship. FN 1162 throws a beeping grenade that we see flying toward the TIE Sentinel in slow motion. Cut to BB-8 looking at the grenade pass over him. BB-8 screams robotically. Oh no. Cut to Rey holding hand forward using the force. Cut to the grenade going across the screen away from the TIE Sentinel. Cut to a grenade tapping the head of C1, B4 in Rey's Esh-wing before she is obscured by a white flash. Cut to the Esh-wing and the Lambda shuttle on fire. Cut to a close-up of Rey shouting with grief in her spirit. Rey. C1. FN 1162 punches Rey in her temple when she's preoccupied. Tear droplets float away from her eyes and she snarls whilst turning. Rey. Oi. Cut to Rey turning around and using her lightsaber to chop off his hands, then Rey force pushes him out of the shot. Cut to Rose piloting the TIE Sentinel and speaking into a comm. Rose. Let's get out of here. Cut to Rey force pulling herself the TIE Sentinel's landing platform. A TIE Sentinel slowly drifts off the ground. The landing platform is receding. Cut to Rey in profile breathing heavy in the shrinking light. It is initially fully illuminated, but then it narrows to a slit over her eyes. The lightsaber can be heard being turned off. Right to left wipe transition. Interior, throne room, Naboo Palace, dawn. A right to left transition bleeds from Rey in profile to Kylo Ren. The murky blue of dawn illuminates the back of Ren's head. He is somber and his eyes are closed. Cut to the First Order's Dresselian Grand Moff Yutang standing straight with a tablet in his left hand. The camera pans from Yutang to Ren sitting on the throne, basking in the dawn light and by himself. Yutang. Resistance members have stolen a TIE Sentinel from the Triada and Kylo. She sat here, before senatorship. She had a heart and after 5 decades they still protect her grave. Cut to Yutang in profile with an unconvinced smirk. Yutang. Yes, but what's more important, popularity or strength? Cut to an over-the-shoulder shot of Kylo lifting himself off the throne and walking around the table. The camera follows him as he walks to Yutang. Kylo. I know which one brings fierce loyalty. If I was strong enough my uncle would never have ignited that lightsaber over me. Cut to a close-up of Kylo's eyes. Kylo. He wouldn't dare. I loved him, look what that got me. Cut to Kylo walking to Yutang until he's inches away. Kylo. See, Amidala was a foolish romantic, like her daughter. So I must ask, Grand Moff Yutang, do you love me or fear me? Cut to Yutang's face, his neck tenses. Cut to a close-up of Kylo Ren's cross-guard lightsaber clenched in his black glove. The weapon ignites and crackles. Exterior, surveillance bunker, a Jin Claw base, day. Close-up of a large flying beetle, Kurzi, buzzing gutturally and landing on a leaf in the in-focus foreground, then the focus switches to the resistance bunker in the background. Interior, surveillance bunker. Commander Daisy can be seen scolding Beaumont with a datapad in her hands in front on a computer and dashboard. Commander Daisy. Why is the computer frozen? Beaumont. No one put down a tarp last night when it rained. Cut to Daisy walking past Beaumont. Commander Daisy. You're someone. Exterior, a Jin Claw base. Wide shot of Daisy flying a Tucker airspeeder past many resistance ships and trees. Exterior, Kaluan's place, a Jin Claw. 9 Nunbi laughs and sits at the bar table with a drink. 9. Speaking an alien language. Hi Nestia. Camera turns to General Lando Calrissian at the table, now with white temples, an ornate pink cape, blue shirt and holding a cane. Lando. An octogenarian who lies has failed to mature. Cut to Daisy drifting her Tucker airspeeder jumping out to run in front of the camera. She stands up and gets her composure while speaking. Commander Daisy. General, we can confirm that the lightspeed rammers are destroyed. However, worryingly, Chewbacca's tracker shows he was on Cloud City and is on course to Bon Odan. Cut to Lando smiling and then taking a sip of his drink. General Lando. Surely my old friend and confidant Lobot oversaw his welcome. Commander Daisy. According to authorities, he was murdered. Cut Lando's glass cup landing on the ground and shattering. Cut to Lando with a tear in his eye, his face tenses. General Lando. I want every unoccupied resistance member investigating these acts, these horrific events are linked. Left to right wipe transition. Interior, back room, TIE Sentinel. Rey is in a room of red before a barrier door opens and lets natural light in on her body. The door opens to silhouetted forms in chairs in front of the cockpit windows. Rose. Buckle up. Rey, Poe, and BB-8 are in their seats. Rey sits in a passenger seat and frantically puts on her seat belt. Rose is still piloting. Exterior, TIE Sentinel, space. Shot of the TIE Sentinel turning away from the Triada. Back view of TIE Sentinel going to hyperspace, the stars stretch radially and then the ship is gone. Interior, TIE Sentinel, space. The cockpit now is faintly illuminated blue from the lightspeed. Rose begins to sit back in her chair after being nervy and she lets out a sigh. Cut to Finn hugging Rey. After the embrace, Rey looks around. Rey. Where's Snap? Finn. He's dead. Cut to Poe looking at Rey while she is removing his seat belt. He exhales tiredly before speaking. Poe. Jedi training really took you away, hadn't it? Cut to a close-up of Rey's hand cheerlessly putting the seat buckle to her side. Rey. I needed to. Galactic safety needs to be restored. Cut to each character sitting in the cockpit. Cut to Rose and Finn. Finn. Nothing is more important, you were right to train. Rose. I have complete faith in you. Cut to Rey holding her dormant lightsaber to her chest. Rey. Thanks. Cut to a close-up of Poe winching. Poe. Yeah, Finn and Rose, could you give me and Rey a moment? Cut to Rose getting out of the pilot's chair. Cut to the back of Finn's head while getting out of a seat in the foreground. Rey and Poe in the background. Finn. Of course. Finn and Rose exit. R2-D2 follows them and BB-8 stays. Poe, off-screen. How's making things peaceful with Ren going? Rey looks at the ceiling, pauses, and then looks at Poe. Rey. He's killed fleets, innocent bystanders, even children. Poe grabs Rey's hand to comfort her. Camera pans up from their hands and onto Rey's distraught face. Rey. If he lives, he'll continue. He is darkness. Cut to a close-up of Rey's eyes as the run tears after a quick blink, she looks directly at the camera. Rey. I need to end him. Cut to Poe while looking down with a slight scowl. Poe. So you'll kill Leia's son, but you won't attend her funeral. Cut Rey with a saddened look, she cries. Rey. I loved her, you don't know how it feels, the pressure. Cut to Poe hunched over in his seat and his right leg shaking. Poe. If you passed, I'd do anything to be there for everyone else. I'd be at your wake. Cut to Rey and Poe looking at each other, Rey trembles. Poe. Don't kill him, honor her legacy. Rey. From my point of view, there is no other answer. Cut to Poe wiping a tear from his right eye. Poe. Either you lose your life or you lose your soul. Cut to BB-8 looking to the floor depressingly. Cut to Rey looking down before turning her head in profile. Cut to Rey gripping her new lightsaber with both hands, the veins in her wrists flex. Rey. Whatever stops him. Cut to Poe in profile, his bottom lip is partially sucked in. Poe. I won't let you, it's suicide. Cut to BB-8's a primary lens that shows a reflection of Rey speaking in a soft red light over her shoulder. Rey. Don't you believe that I can't complete my task? Cut to Poe leaning back in his seat and running his fingers through his hair. His face is deadpan. Poe. You're younger than I am, you deserve to enjoy your youth. I'm 37, I have some silver hair. Cut to Rey getting off her seat. BB-8, off screen. Multiple beeps. You're already 37. Cut to Rey crouching in profile next to Poe in his seat, he has a hopeless look before Rey speaks that grows more optimistic. Rey. It makes you look distinguished. Cut to a close-up of Rey's hand on her comm. Rey. If I truly believe I'm in danger, I'll call for your help. Cut to Poe's head facing the camera. Rey kisses Poe on his cheek and she walks to the cockpit exit door. Poe melancholily shuts his eyes. Cut to BB-8 looking at them with surprise. Cut to Rey standing before the whole ship jolts and shakes with a loud noise. BB-8 unwillingly rolls from one side of the screen to the next. Cut to Poe stumbling to get to the pilot's seat. Poe. They tracked us through hyperspace, again. And this ship only left us drifting with momentum. We need this engine working now. Rey, off screen. They miniaturize the tech. Poe at the pilot seat pressing buttons on the dashboard. Poe. Rose, why didn't you use the cloaking device? Rose, off screen. It doesn't have one. The TIE Sentinel begins to make faulty noises. Cut to a scared Rey. Poe. Rey, remove the panel to the left. The engine is built exactly like the TIEs you scrapped back on Jakku. Cut to BB-8 excitedly looking down at the engine panel cover. Cut to Rose and Finn in the back half of the TIE Sentinel. Rose. Finn, go to the deck gunner seat. R2 and I will run repairs. Overhead shot of Finn climbing up a ladder to a gunner seat. Finn. Not my first time shooting TIEs in a TIE. Cut to Finn placing his hands on the controls of the gunner seat while sitting down. Cut to Rose fiddling with wires from a wall with a removed panel. The opening is low to the ground and right across from the vault with a ladder. Finn went down, so Rose lies on her stomach to interact. R2-D2 stands behind her. R2-D2. Whirs and beeps. Connect the auxiliary cable to activate the cannon charger. Rose. How'd you learn about this craft? Cut to Rose's hands connecting auxiliary cables. Cut to R2-D2 and his head turning in a complete circle. R2-D2. Fluctuating beeps. Escape from a prison on Mimban. Cut to a POV of Rose looking through the low open panel, the wires and frame are silhouettes. Rose. Mimban, a bit too messy for my taste. Cut to Poe moving frantically and speaking with his hands. Poe. We don't need hyperspace, we need to move and shoot. The roaring of a different TIE fighter can be heard and it disrupts Poe's sentence. Exterior. Space. Dozens of red Triada elite TIE fighters in a row charge closer. Interior. TIE Sentinel cockpit. Cut to Rey pulling down a hatch on a wall to slide the floor panel away. She hops down to the engine as BB-8 stares. The camera follows Rey as she twists wires and tightens a pipe. Interior. FN 924 feet S elite TIE cockpit. Cut to a crimson-suited elite Triada TIE pilot in his cockpit. He's Captain FN 924. FN 924. Let us to Calrissian's base and we'll ensure you and your confidants will not be executed. Interior. TIE Sentinel cockpit. Poe sweats with concern. Poe. Our ship is unfinished. Our ship is a lemon. Cut to Rey smacking a rotor making the engine bowels light up and turn back on. Cut to Poe's, camera zooms in. Oh, his cocky face smiling. Poe. I'd sooner kiss a massif. Cut to a close-up of Poe Dameron's hand pulling down on the Sentinel's hyperspace lever. The stars stretch behind it. Iris close wipe transition. Interior. Clinical bed, Millennium Falcon. The camera slowly rises from the grated floor of the ship to 4-year-old Ben Solo who sits on the Falcon's bed with tears in his eyes, feathery hair, a beige shirt, shorts. And a bad scrape on his knee. Cut to Ben's distraught pinkened face and his lips tensing. Cut to Chewbacca kneeling on the floor and rummaging through a metal crate. Chewbacca. Softly murmurs. 1 second, I'll find it. Cut to young Ben pouting with a red face. Young Ben. It really hurts. Cut to Chewbacca looking down in profile in the foreground, the background is out of focus. Chewbacca. Nasally scoff and trill. That's nothing, try battles. Cut to Ben firmly squinting his eyes and sharply sucking in air. Chewbacca, off-screen. Murmurs. It should be. Cut to Chewbacca quickly pulling out a Bacta spray dispenser. Chewbacca, continued. Roars. Here. Cut to a close-up of Ben's hurt knee and Chewbacca spritzing solution on it. After a second the scrape begins to heal. Cut to Ben with a surprised grin, tears still down his face. Cut to Ben's knee completely repaired. Cut to Chewbacca with a proud smile. Young Ben, off-screen. You fixed it. Cut to Ben hopping down from the bed and sprinting to abruptly hug Chewbacca still kneeling. Young Ben. Thank you Uncle Chewie, you're the best ever. Leia impression off-screen. Oh Ben. Cut to a close-up of Chewbacca hugging little Ben. Interior. Royal Suite, Theed Palace, dawn. Cut to Kylo Ren lying in bed scowling in silk sheets. Right ear is lying against an ornate pillow and his forehead is sweaty. The room is dimly lit. Cut to Kylo Ren sitting up and waking from his dream. His heavily scarred bare back is completely visible to the camera. Interior. TIE Sentinel cockpit, space. While Rey places her hand on the top of the pilot's chair where Poe is sitting. She is pointing to a window on the right. Rey. Go to that planet to the right. Poe. Why? Cut to BB-8 on the ground swiveling his head up to Rey. BB-8. Quick repetitive beeps. Massive towers, you can make sure they can run into them. Cut to Rey looking down to see BB-8. Rey. Precisely, BB-8. Cut to Poe piloting the ship with panic and confusion. Poe. Towers can run into, what? Exterior, Toke, space. The TIE Sentinel approaches the planet of Amber. Rey, off-screen. Give the First Order obstacles and we'll find a better ship. Toke is an ancient place, sacred. Cut to a wide shot of elite Triada TIEs charging through the vacuum with Toke in the background. Interior, Toke sky, day. The TIE Sentinel flies through clouds passed by a vibrant pillar. White and green cannon fire are exchanged in the air. The camera follows the TIE Sentinel as it dives sharply, zips by tall islands, and flies over a solid amber sea. Exterior, giant statue head. The Triada TIE chase across the lips of the amber statue deity to reach the TIE Sentinel. The camera follows the TIE Sentinel through the statue's ear, which leads in a deep canal of amber underground roots. Interior, TIE Sentinel cockpit, amber canals. Rey turns her head to Poe as he pilots. Poe sucks in his lips as he pulls a lever. Rey. Double back, trust me. Interior, amber canals. White cannon fire take out multiple Triada TIE fighters. Cut to several Triada TIE fighters gaining on the TIE Sentinel. Exterior, amber sea. Overhead shot of the TIEs flying under a thin sheet of amber and making an abrupt turn. Interior, gunner seat, TIE Sentinel. Finn fires shots from the TIE Sentinel's gunner seat. Finn. Woo, and I thought the father chase was tense. Int, TIE Sentinel cockpit. R2-D2 slams into the floor and begins to roll on the floor. R2-D2. Loud beeps. I have my existence. Cut to Rey holding a comm to her face. Rey. That's just the appetizer, Finn. Interior, gunner seat, TIE Sentinel. Finn head darts with concern. Finn. Excuse me. Interior, TIE Sentinel cockpit. Rey picks up R2-D2 even as the ship does evasive maneuvers. Rey. Rose, unload the cargo hold. Exterior, giant statue head. The TIE Sentinel followed by 3 remaining Triada TIEs escape the statue's ear and fly well above the head. Interior, TIE cargo hold. Rose and BB-8 walk through the cargo hold before discovering the release latch. Rose pulls it. Rose gets illuminated in light from the opening of the cargo hold. BB-8's antenna is bent. Cut to a crate of coaxium sliding out of the ship. Exterior, giant statue head. The TIE Sentinel flies rapidly at the crate before it taps the head of the statue. The coaxium explodes and quickly implodes. After the drop, the statue becomes an amber stone fragment island, the TIE Triadas are obliterated, and the TIE Sentinel is damaged. Exterior, Toke telescope roof. Close up on an alien eye slowly squinting. Cut to a POV view through an octagonal lens of a telescope that shows the TIE Sentinel smoking and going down. Exterior, Toke amber stone island, amber sea. The TIE Sentinel's engine sputters as it awkwardly tries to land softly, but it falls a meter from the newly formed island. Interior, TIE Sentinel cockpit. Poe falls back in his cockpit seat exhausted after the landing. He puts a comm to his face before dropping it. Poe. Let's take a 15-minute break, okay. Okay. Interior, TIE Sentinel fuselage. Cut to Rey sitting cross-legged on the ground while she fixes BB-8's antenna on her lap. Rey. C-14B saw you as her hero. BB-8. Beeps. That's flattering. Cut to Rey with a melancholy face, looking down to the camera. Rey. I guess it is. Oh, you're all repaired, BB-8. Cut to BB-8 hopping off Rey's lap and Rey standing up. BB-8. Whirring. Thanks. Rey. Why don't we check on Finn and Rose? Cut to Rey walking past R2-D2. R2-D2. Whistle and beeps. Antenna, this generation is amateurly designed. Cut to Rey, opening the back cockpit barrier door to find Finn and Rose kissing. Finn pulls away nervously from Rose. Cut to Rey smirking. Rey. I didn't realize how romantic a TIE Sentinel is. Cut to Finn and Rose. Finn. It was her idea. Rose. Yeah right, he's a late bloomer. He's definitely not comfortable kissing in public. Cut to Ray smiling at the two of them. Ray. How long? Rose. 4 months and we still haven't. Cut to Finn with a deeply embarrassed face. Finn. That's enough catching up, we have a first order to fight and galactic peace to bring. Cut to Ray nodding determinedly. Ray. Absolutely. Exterior, Toke Teloki Amber Stone Island, Amber Sea. Ant's eye view of the battle-damaged TIE Sentinel resting on a hill of chonky and jagged slabs of amber. Cut to a panoramic shot of the large island hill that carries the broken ship. Cut to Ray's boots sliding down the amber stones in profile, the camera follows Ray's feet as they hop to solid amber sea. Cut to Finn and Rose awkwardly walking down the amber stone island. Finn. Hold up, Ray, we don't all have training from Master Ahsoka. Cut to a wide shot of Ray standing on the solid sea. Ray. She'd say my footing was off. Cut to the TIE Sentinels panel popping off before Poe and BB-8 on First Order inflatable raft glide across the screen. Cut to Poe and BB-8 in the raft zooming in the background past Finn in the foreground struggling. Cut to BB-8 on the back of the raft hopping up and down. BB-8. High-pitched warble. Oh my goodness. Cut to Finn with a surprised look. Cut to Rose laughing. Rose. Well done. Cut to a close-up of the back of the inflatable raft right before a sharp edge of amber punctures a hole inside of it. It makes a loud pop. Cut to the raft gliding a foot above the amber sea. Cut to Poe and BB-8 briefly spinning and their inflatable raft stopping next to the bottom half of Ray's body. Poe laughs as he untenses his body and stands. BB-8 dizzily stumbles out. Cut to Ray and Poe looking at each other in profile. Ray smirks as Poe fixes his hair. Ray. Always the problem solver. Poe. That's what Leia said. Cut to Finn and Rose in profile walking down the end of the island towards Ray, Poe, BB-8 and the slowly deflating raft. Cut to Finn throwing his arm over Poe's shoulder while smiling. Finn. You wild son of a bantha. Cut to a close-up of Ray looking through a pair of binoculars. Cut to Ray's POV looking into the binoculars showing a distant temple. There's a guttural whirring noise as it zooms in. Poe, off-screen. It was nothing really. Cut to Ray removing the binoculars from her face. Ray. It's about 18 clicks away. Cut to BB-8 examining the tear in the raft. Ray. We'll need to set a campfire for the night to avoid frostbite. Cut to Poe proudly patting Finn on the shoulder. Poe. The men will hunt. Finn. I'm not carving amber to get fossilized grub, but you can trouble yourself. Cut to Ray walking forward and handing the binoculars to Rose. Ray. I have enough food and water for everyone. Camera turns to Rose with a furrowed brow. Rose. Why don't we have the resistance pick us up? Cut to Finn talking with his hands. Finn. Our radio comms only reach 20,000 light years, less if there's an electromagnetic disturbance. Cut to Ray with her arms crossed. Ray. The closest resistance base is 22,000 light years from here. Cut to Rose shaking her head while rattling can be heard from the pre-Empire binoculars. Rose. We really need to stop using old tech, they always get jammed. Exterior, campfire, amber sand dune, night. Ray, Poe, Finn and Ray are huddled in front of a crackling campfire with the skin of the torn raft being used as a blanket. Finn holds Rose while he sleeps and Ray sleeps with her head on Poe's shoulder. The fire reflects orange light on our heroes. Cut to Poe in profile with Ray snoring next to him. The resting Ray turns in her sleep and her head lands on Poe's chest. Cut to a close-up of Poe looking down with mild worry. Cut to Rose looking at the camera with a cheeky pout and nodding her head. Cut to Ray's right hand grabbing Poe's ring on his necklace as she snores. Cut to Poe with a faint smile, he then closes his eyes to sleep. Curtain open wipe transition. Interior, Naboo cave hangar bunker, feed, Naboo. A dirty elevator opens after a beep. Maz, Connix, Kurant and Pira walk out of it. Camera pans across several old Naboo starfighters. The bunker is vast, dusty, and rectangular, and houses 15 fighters. Only one fighter is white, the rest are the iconic yellow. Cut to the elderly Gavin. Gavin. Let me learn your kids something, I know my way around a Naboo starfighter. Cut to Gavin waving his finger. Gavin. I fought against a Lucree Hulk command ship, I trust that. Cut to Pyrrha turning her head to the camera. Pyrrha. Grandpa, ignore the nostalgia, that was 70 years ago. Cut to Gavin shadowboxing and smiling wide enough to reveal his missing teeth. Gavin. Let me fly and I will burn anyone's ass out of the sky, the Empire won't know what hit them. Cut to Connix looking towards the camera with a confused face. Pyrrha. You will not get in a cockpit. Cut to the back of a partially obscured yellow-helmeted diminutive feed engineer rummaging through a crate with a monkey-like tail. Cut to Connix in the background looking at the engineer in the foreground, they pop out holding a laser welder. The engineer is Balmoran named Flan, a purple reptilian humanoid with large marble-esque eyes, small fangs and a slim short neck. Gavin, off-screen. I'm still sharp, young lady. Flan walks to a ladder passing Connix. Flan. Ye been too old to fleen. Cut to Pyrrha with her arms crossed. Pyrrha. You don't even know the difference between the Empire and the First Order. Cut to Gavin placing his left hand on his chin when he thinks. Gavin. My First Order, I don't think DA's bistro is open. Cut to Pyrrha with her hand over her face. Cut to Courant walking past Pyrrha and turning his head to signal. Courant. Come here over Connix, leave the engineer. Cut to Connix walking toward the camera away from Flan welding the belly of the N1 fighter in the background. Flan uses their prehensile tail like a lifter jack. Flan. I wallet fixin' is swith. Cut to Maz's hand running on a white ship. Maz. What's with this ship? The camera slowly zooms out to show the ship in full view. Pyrrha. Jegs worked on creating a coral fighter that could swim and fly. Cut to Connix with raised eyebrows. Connix. That's brilliant. Horizontal rise wipe transition. Exterior, campfire, amber sand dune, day. Wide shot of the amber sand dune. A burnt-out campfire pit and our heroes can be seen at a distance. Cut to an upside-down close-up Poe lying in the sand dune asleep until he's patted on the right cheek by Rose's hand. Poe's face twitches before he haggardly opens his eyes. Rose. Ladies man, let's go. The camera rotates clockwise as Poe scratches his beard and rolls to face away from the camera. Cut to Finn adjusting with the sun behind his head. Finn. The great city is near. Exterior, Temple of DK Tezel Great City. Toke Telek, day. Our hero traverses the amber sand floors of a wide city street that leads to a massive temple on a hill. Endless homes are visible around their path with humanoid beings walking around. They are the Zoji, the tall pangolin-like people. Cut to our heroes walking in profile down the street outside of the temple in the background. In the foreground are 4 evenly spaced monks with staffs in their right hands. Cut to a shirtless Zoji man striking gong with a thin mallet. Interior, temple corridor. Rey, Poe, Finn, Rose, and their droid companions walk towards the camera into the tall rounded silhouetted corridor. The gong still rings out. Cut to Poe and Finn turning behind. Cut to Zoji servants carrying a litter carriage forward, gong stops. Cut to Rose shrugging with her shoulders. R2-D2. Whistles. Strange. Interior, temple nave. Zoji children play drums at an upbeat rhythm in rows. Cut to dozens of Zoji women dancing on and around the body of a statue of their god DK Tezel in front of a circular window. Camera pans out to reveal hundreds of Zoji praying on the floor. Men carrying a litter carriage eventually set it down at the center of the nave surrounded by the praying crowd. Cut to Rey, Poe, Finn and Rose walking into the nave. Cut to the door of the litter carriage opening and a robed Zoji man coming out. He is known as Omek. He stands and looks down. Cut to a close-up of Rey's hand reaching for her new lightsaber. Cut to an overhead shot of Omek looking down at Rey. Omek. No need to reach for a weapon. What is your name? Rey. Rey. These are my friends. We're from the Resistance. Omek. Only one name. Cut to Rey with her head held high. Rey. I don't need another. Cut to Omek as he raises his hands. Omek. My name is Omek Vez and these are my followers. Cut to Poe squinting. Poe. We didn't come here for service. Our transportation crashed. If you give us a ship, we'll be out of your scales. Cut to Omek. Omek. So much violence, impatience, and irritability amongst your friends. Cut to Finn speaking after rolling his eyes. Finn. You try to fend off dozens of TIE fighters and see if you're still so perfect. Cut to Rey with a furrowed brow. Rey. Sorry about the buildings and our rudeness, Chief Omek. But we do ask for your help, the galaxy is counting on us. Cut to Omek looking down at Rey, Poe, Finn and Rose. Omek. Are you willing to trade for the Toke bliss? Cut to Rose grabbing her necklace with worry. Cut to Rey. Rey. Trade what? Cut to Omek while he points at the camera. Omek. Kyber. Cut to Rey in profile in front of Omek holding her former lightsaber with burns from her satchel. Rey kneels and presents it above her head. Cut to Finn walking next to Rey looking at her and Omek. Finn. Why would you want a broken lightsaber? Cut to Omek holding the removed Kyber crystal in his right hand. Omek. All that is damaged has worth. Broken isn't the same as hopeless. Cut to Rey looking down in contemplation in the foreground in focus, then the focus switches to Finn in the background with a frown. Cut to Omek. Omek. Speaking Toke. All praise to DK Tezel. Cut to hundreds of monks dancing in the crowd, camera turns clockwise to Rey, Poe, Finn and Rose with confused looks. Rose. Okay, we'll wait outside for the ship. Thank you. Exterior, Toke landing pad. Rey, Finn, R2-D2 and BB-8 stand in front of a staircase in the foreground while the Toke bliss is in the background, Poe and Rose are closer to it. Cut to R2-D2 climbing up the staircase while BB-8 struggles to overcome the first step. BB-8. Beeps and light whelp. Circuits don't fail me now. Cut to a back view of R2-D2 turning his head before turning back, Finn crouches behind him. Cut to an overhead shot of Finn grabbing BB-8 and placing him on top of the staircase on one end, while R2 is on the other. Finn. You need to stop being jealous of BB-8. R2-D2. Repetitive beeps. The bolo ball, he's a loser. Cut to his OG servants doing a full body bow for Rey and Finn. Cut to Rey and Finn, Rey waves her hands downward. Rey. Bowing isn't really necessary. Finn. He can't understand, they've been too separated from the rest of the galaxy. Rey. I'm aware, but manners. Rey and Finn continue up the staircase. Finn. Back at the temple. You were thinking about a broken soul, not a lightsaber. Ben Solo. Rey. Did you eavesdrop on Poe and I? Finn. The Force told me, I didn't need to listen to words. Slight surprise interrupts Rey's hopeless face. Cut to Poe and Rose walking up the ramp of the Toke bliss. Rose. What do you think they'll do with that Kyber crystal? Poe. Smoke it, I really don't know. Rose begins to snicker as Rey and Finn board the ship. Cut to the Toke bliss rising and flying into the gold clouds. Horizontal rise wipe transition. Exterior, feed hangar, first order construction platform. Suspended cables lift the Millennium Falcon out of the rubble and ashes of the hangar. Camera turns to Asbel standing on a box holding a datapad above his head without a helmet with a crowd of other defecting stormtroopers without helmets. Asbel. We are the revolution, they want us to be foot soldiers and patrolling my home, to oppress others when they oppress us. Cut to the defecting stormtroopers looking up. Asbel, off screen. We follow in the steps of the hero who fought back. Finn. Cut to the defecting stormtroopers carrying their blasters above their heads and cheering. Interior, Naboo cave hangar bunker. Flan checks a broken engine of a starfighter from a stool. Connix walks silhouetted to Flan in the foreground. Flan hangs over the engine by their tail wrapped on lowered scaffolding. Connix. Nothing like handcrafted engines. Cut to Flan pointing at the camera with a wrench. Flan. Yeehan and I and Fakhound and mind. Cut to Connix with a sweet smile behind Flan. Connix. My name is Cadel Ko Connix, what's your name? Flan. Flan. Cut to Connix walking closer to Flan. Connix. How can Gavin understand you, he's already hard of hearing. Cut to Flan smiling. Flan. I win and ye have Greta Japes. Flan contemplates their next move, before smooching the wrench and proceeding to use the tool to violently strike the engine. Cut to Connix being startled by the metallic clang. Cut to Pyrrha removing a tarp off a Dottie code interceptor and turning the device on. Courant watches her process. Pyrrha. Finally found it. Dr. Jegs has sent Dottie code messages, the only way to reach someone after invaders jam all communications. Courant. But someone needs to be told to check their base as Dottie code interceptors. Cut to Maz looking down. Maz. I have a solution. Interior, Toke Teloki Bliss Lounge. Finn and Rose sit together on a couch of the ship. Finn peers through a window. R2-D2 rolls by them. Finn. At least they can't do any Haldo maneuvers on our base. The Jin class is invaluable. R2-D2. Pips and beeps. They'll make more, they always do. Exterior, a Jin class, day. The Toke Teloki Bliss lands on the jungle floor of the Muna Jin class. Light beams come through the foliage. Cut to an overhead shot of Jess Pava and Arata, a female Flugrian. The exhaust of the ship casts dead leaves away. Jess. Look at that beaut. Arata. Speaking Huttese. The ship or the Jedi? Jess. Either one. Cut to BB-8 looking behind Finn's leg. Finn. Me and Rose are going to make sure R2 gets cleaned up. Cut to Ray with a smirk. Ray. Of course. Cut to Jess in profile. Jess. Hello there. Cut to Ray, Poe, Finn, Rose and R2-D2 coming down the landing ramp of the Bliss. Finn, Rose and R2-D2 veer close together. Ray. Hi, Jess Pava. Cut to Poe and Jess locking arms. Poe. Long time no see. Cut to Jess with a pensive expression. Jess. The former band is dwindling, Lulo, Audie, and Snap. We best give Corey space. Cut to Poe nodding before frowning. Poe. Lando made you White Squadron commander, take care of them. Jess, off screen. Always. Cut to Ray freezing and her brow furrowed, she senses something. Maz, off screen. Ray. Cut to a mystified Ray. Ray. Maz Kanata. Interior, underground bunker, Theed catacombs. Maz presses her fingers into her temples while using the force. Maz. You must come to Naboo, Kylo Ren has overtaken the planet. Chewie was kidnapped and all we possess are old starships in the catacombs of Theed. Exterior, a Jin class. Ray listens and nervously rubs her right shoulder. Maz, continued off-screen. A Gungan woman will assist you at Gale Marsh, she provided intel that can only be found on a Dottie code inceptor. Lay low. Cut to Ray in profile. Ray. Thank you. Cut to Poe with a raised eyebrow. Poe. Are you alright? You seem to be talking to a fuel dispenser. Cut to Ray walking past Poe to meet a surprised Jess Pava. Ray. Jess, get a Dottie code inceptor, it's urgent. Message from Theed. Cut to Rada hopping with anticipation, Jess's hand can be seen gesturing to her. Jess. Dottie, that's her speciality. Cut to Ray looking across from Poe. Ray. We are going to Naboo, First Order is there. Cut to Poe rubbing his face with both of his hands. Poe. I have a bad feeling about this. Exterior, Droid Spa, a Jin class. R2-D2 has the black paint washed and scrubbed off of him by the Gertree sisters, two Yepiks, a humanoid race that resemble glass frogs. The Gertree sisters wear robes and tall sandals. Cut to C-3PO shuffling to the camera, he once again has the red left arm from Dakar. There's a dense jungle behind him. C-3PO. You were gone for months without contact to a Jin class. I feared that you had been sold or crushed. The camera turns clockwise to R2-D2 being washed. R2-D2. Beeps and chirps. Is that you C-3PO? I could hardly recognize you with the red arm. Cut to C-3PO. C-3PO. You mean the red arm you stole and stowed on the Millennium Falcon? Do you even know what took me to acquire this part? Cut to R2-D2. R2-D2. Hums and beeps. Don't care, didn't ask. Cut to soapsuds and chipped paint landing on the ground. Cut to both droids. C-3PO. Maybe I ought to wish for you to be obliterated, I won't have to hear such insults. Cut to R2-D2 turning his head away, his head is mostly clean. R2-D2. Tweets and bleeps. I hope it's you and not me, I could use a good laugh. Cut to C-3PO raising his red arm. C-3PO. You inappropriate dimwit. Cut to Jess, Pava and Arata. Jess. Goldenrod, Lando needs you. Cut to C-3PO walking away from R2. Exterior, mural wall, Ajin Kloss. Finn and Rose walk through the Ajin Kloss jungle, no longer in First Order clothing. Finn wears a double-breasted beige flight jacket and Rose wears a gray cargo vest. They come across a giant mural of General Leia painted on a wall. Finn. Leia's spirit is still with us when we fight. Her passing won't be in vain. Cut to Rose exhaling before she hears her comm device sound, she answers it and places it in front of her face. Lieutenant Roby Tice can be heard on the other end. Roby, comm. My wife needs your assistance, bring Finn for an extraction. Cut to Finn with a heedful expression. Cut to Rose looking up at the camera. Rose. We'll be there shortly. Cut to Lando walking to a circular projector. Larma Daisy is seen pressing a set of buttons on the control panel. Commander Daisy. The documentation you requested. General Lando. We'd be severely lacking without you. Commander Daisy. Cut to Finn and Rose walking to the circular projector. Finem. You wanted our help, right? That's what I heard. Cut to Commander Daisy speaking with her hands. Commander Daisy. You two will need to work to save your friend. Sending a full battalion may jeopardize the extraction. Cut to Rose in profile looking at Commander Daisy. Rose. Jeopardize. Extraction. Cut to Lando looking down. General Lando. Follow this bounty hunter to Bono Dan. He is keeping Chewie as his hostage, he's almost certainly Lobot's killer. Camera zooms out to show Rose looking at Lando next to her. Rose. How did you find out this elusive man is on Bono Dan? General Lando. Han added a tracker to Chewie's bandolier before his passing, it's demonstrably easier. Cut to Finn with his right hand over his mouth. Finn. Who is this bounty hunter? Couldn't have been Crimson Corsair. Cut to Lando pulling up a holographic image of Mace Towani. The camera slowly rotates around the holo projector, to Finn walking around it, Rose looking worried, and then turning to Lando. General Lando. Towani, we tussled on Utapau years ago. As a child, he survived being stranded on Endor with his sister. That young man became a bounty hunter for the dreaded Pike Syndicate. Cut to Rose across from Commander Daisy. Rose. Endor, the moon with cute little bears. Cut to Finn with squinted eyes. Finn. Cute, isn't how I'd describe them. Cut to Commander Daisy looking down at her datapad. Commander Daisy. Yes, rumors say he was once a part of an Ewok human caravan. Cut to Finn and Lando. Finn. Is there any other information that can help us defeat him? General Lando. Alas, we don't. If I was more spry and less preoccupied I would join your mission. Take C-3PO. Cut to an overhead shot of Finn, Rose, Lando and Daisy. Rose. Why was your choice him? Cut to Yarma Daisy turning to Rose. Commander Daisy. Bono Danites speak an old archaic tongue. 3PO will translate any information you may need. Cut to Lando patting Finn on his shoulder, camera slowly rotates around the men. Aftab Akbar can be seen passing them, wearing a resistance shirt and a Karkaradon tooth necklace. General Lando. Take my ship, Aftab is your pilot. Finn. Will do, General. General Lando. Finn. Finn. Yes, General. Lando hands Luke's green lightsaber to him. General Lando. Beaumont fixed the focusing ring, it'd be wise to take it. Finn. I appreciate all the help. Exterior, the Lady Luck. Cut to Finn, Rose, and C-3PO boarding the Lady Luck. Finn is the last one to enter, camera follows him inside. Cut to Lando standing with Beaumont Kin. General Lando. One last thing. Cut to Finn with wide eyes, standing in the doorway as the landing pad recedes inside of the ship. Cut to Lando smirking. General Lando. May the Force be with you. Cut to Finn in front of the Lady Luck. Finn. It has never left me. Finn turns to walk into the ship. Arrow-shaped wipe transition left to right. Exterior, Naboo Swamp, sunset. Rey and Poe go to the swamps of Naboo with the Toke Bliss. The ship hovers over the mucky water, creating ripples that expose the grassy plateau. The ship lands. Interior, Toke Bliss. Poe can be seen kneeling on the floor and waving for BB-8 to go into a charged backpack, a backpack with a fridge-esque form. Poe. I promise it's safe, buddy. Cut to BB-8 sheepishly going into the pack. Rey, off-screen. Why is he going into that? Cut to BB-8 resting on a concave platform that glows green when he gets on it, the red light in his lens goes out, the door closes and air escapes. Poe. It's a charging dock pack. If we're trapped on a flooded planet, he needs a vacuum-sealed box. Cut to Poe. Poe. I had an ALT droid we took to Manon, he was never the same after the dip. Cut to Rey putting on the charger dock pack, next to Poe. Rey. Sorry about your droid. Poe. He was still a good footrest. Cut to the vessel door opening to reveal Rey and Poe. They stand in heel-height water that rushes over the floor of the ship. Cut to Rey and Poe trekking through the deep water, then they stop when they come across Dr. Jegs. Cut to Rey waving. Cut to Dr. Jegs with a gondola speeder beside her. Dr. Jegs, sign language. Take the gondola speeders and climb the catacombs. Avoid the Oppo Durai. Cut to Poe with his hands on his hips. Poe. Oh, of course you're mute, that's just our luck. Cut to Rey in profile and Poe stands towards the camera. Rey. She said to take the gondolas to the cave, and something lurks. Poe. Said, there was zero sound. And now I have another beast to confront. Cut to Rey standing in the gondola speeder. Rey. Come on. Rey sits down in the speeder and Poe joins her. Left to right diagonal wipe transition. Interior, Lady Luck cockpit. Aftab pilots the Lady Luck. Finn, Rose and C-3PO stand behind him looking after his shoulder. Aftab. We are close. Finn. Let's hope we get out unscathed. Exterior, Ash Slums, Bon Odan. The Lady Luck gently lands on Bon Odan, in the park of the Ash Slums. The ship kicks up blankets of ash from air exhaust. Cut to Finn stepping out of the ship on the landing ramp, Rose and C-3PO follow. Cut to a sweeping shot of the dense, dirty, and dilapidated apartment complexes. Against the gray sky, factory engines can be heard in the distance. Cut to C-3PO and Finn. C-3PO. Now, I must say this is quite the eerie destination. Finn. It's not scary enough to abandon our friend. Cut to Rose closed-eyed, Finn stands beside her. Finn. Your sister would be proud of you. Rose turns to him and grins, no longer plagued by self-doubt from years ago. Rose. Thank you. Finn. I'll look in the city, you and 3PO should ask the locals for leads. Stay safe you too. Rose nods her head. Cut to Finn walking away in the distance. Exterior, Bon Odan courtyard. Rose looks forward with trepidation and firmly grips her blaster. C-3PO shuffles behind her. Cut to C-3PO speaking. C-3PO. I haven't been here since my communication module was tuned. Then Bon Odan was a tropical oasis, but... Camera zooms to a wide shot after a noise is heard, Rose points her blaster forward. The blaster crosses over C-3PO. C-3PO. Oh dear, such brutish. Cut to a close-up of Rose staring intently. Rose. Quiet, 3PO. Cut to a tall creature with arms raised coming out of the shadow cast by a building. It's a Bon Odanite, Cleary Baram. Cleary has bottom fangs, coral-like skin and a body similar to a bear. She wears a grass gown and a dried pale yellow flower necklace. Kliri. Speaks Bon Od. Cut to Rose lowering her shoulders, C-3PO stands behind her. C-3PO. She said, my name is Cleary, who are you? Rose. Rose Tico. Cut to Cleary with a timid demeanor. Cleary. Speaks Bon Od. Cut to C-3PO. C-3PO. Hello, Rose, are you here to help my people? The First Order killed most of the adults and stole our children. Cut to Rose looking at her with sadness and concern. Rose. The Resistance will help even if it takes years. But we're on a mission to save our friend. Camera zooms in closer on Rose. Rose. Have you seen a Wookiee? Exterior. Bono Dan Pillar. Finn walks up the staircase outside of the pillar with a lightsaber in hand. The pillar is giant, dingy and ash-covered. Cut to Finn grabbing the frame on the doorway, he looks at the ground with fear in his eyes. The camera pans down from Finn to a dead Bonodonite fused to the structure. Cut to a back view of Finn walking over the dead body. Cut to Finn walking into a room where light and shadows fall on everything like Venetian blinds. Mace Towani. And most think the only Mace was a Jedi Knight. Cut to Mace Towani standing next to Chewbacca in carbonite, the lights on the brim ebb and flow. Finn, off-screen. Mace Towani, you have my friend. If you aren't willing to return him, I'll resort to combat. Cut to Mace Towani in his helmet. Mace Towani. I heard a lot about you. Cut to Finn. Finn. I have no time for this. Cut to Towani as he pulls Beskar hook swords from his back and he presents them in front of him. Mace Towani. I see you lack patience. Cut to Finn igniting the green saber close to his face before charging forward. Cut to Towani blocking the lightsaber with both hook swords. Mace Towani. Now I finally meet a formidable adversary. Iris close wipe transition. Exterior. Waters of Theed. An overhead shot of the gondola speeder tides to a rock while the water perfectly reflects the gorgeous clouds and sky. Exterior. Theed Cave. Rey and Poe climb up a cavernous wall, water drips from their bodies, the gondola speeder can be seen behind them. Cut to Rey grabbing Poe's hand when she lifts him to the top of the cliff. Behind the duo is a pitch-black cave. Cut to Poe and Rey in the cave, Poe holds a flashlight and Rey holds her ignited lightsaber to combat the darkness. Rey. I can sense Maz, we just need to go further to an elevator. Poe. Why can't it ever be easy? Cut to a high-angle shot of Rey and Poe walking in the background on the ground and a silhouetted Apoder on the ceiling foreground, its red eyes reflect light like a cat. Rey. Tribulations make the victories worth it. Cut to close-up of Rey smiling before suddenly becoming frigid. Rey. Like could you imagine if you just... Cut to an Opodorai's molted full-body hide resting on a branch, it has horns and beautiful dark iridescent fur. Cut to Poe looking with concern, his hand on Rey's shoulder. Poe. Is Moshe giving you more directions? Cut to a close-up of Rey in a trance. Poe. Rey. Cut to the molted hide in the foreground and Rey walking to it in the background. Poe, off-screen. Maybe we shouldn't touch it. Cut to a close-up of Rey's hand about to make contact with the glistening fur. Cut to the Opodorai jumping down from the ceiling and screaming at the camera. The Opodorai is a creature that resembles a cross between a cicada and a vampire bat. Cut to Poe holding up his blaster with a panicked expression. Poe. Rey, there's a giant monster. Cut to a back view of Poe jumping forward to knock Rey to the ground as the Opodorai swings its claws. Her lightsaber turns off. Poe. Watch out. Cut to Rey's face as she slowly comes back to her senses. Cut to the Opodorai flapping its wings and turning to Rey and Poe on the ground, it screams again. Cut to Finn shooting on one knee. Cut to the blaster piercing the Opodorai's right wing which infuriates it. Cut to the Opodorai, smacking Poe with its wing and making him fall to the side. Cut to Poe's face on the ground with a bloody mouth. Poe. Ow. Cut to Rey's hand igniting her lightsaber. Cut to Rey squinting. Cut to Apoder turning around before charging towards Rey. Cut to Poe sitting up still bleeding. Cut to a back view of the Opodorai as Rey's lightsaber slices of its left wing. Cut to the Opodorai biting down on Rey's arm as Rey uses her lightsaber to stab the roof of the beast's mouth to the brain. Cut to Rey falling to her knees as the Opodorai collapses. Cut to Rey's bloody right arm as she pulls a fang out of it. Cut to Poe running to Rey to hug her as she gets up, he sobs. Poe. I thought that was it, I can't afford another funeral. Cut to a close-up on Rey hugging Poe, she cries with a smile over his shoulder. Cut to the Opodorai corpse slightly shrinking and turning from black to white. Poe, off-screen. I keep telling you, listen to me and you'll live longer. Cut to Poe turning around next to Rey. Rey. Look at the creature. Cut to the Oppo de Rey's molted white hide against the light of the cave tunnel. Rey, off-screen. And the hide, they were corrupted. Cut to Rey with an uneasy look. Rey. Sidious lived on Naboo. I wasn't strong enough to fall for what he created, the flesh of Sith. Cut to Poe. Poe. You did right, we aren't perfect. I'm always proud of you. Cut to Rey and Poe walking into the cave. Interior, Bono Dan pillar. Finn blocks more of Mace Towani's strikes from his sword hooks. Cut to Finn slashing towards Towani's head with the lightsaber blade, it gets caught between both razor hooks. Cut to a close-up of the lightsaber being snatched from his hand, the weapon turns off soon after. Cut to Finn panicking. Cut to the lightsaber flying away behind Towani. Cut to an overhead shot of Towani swinging both hook swords linked by the blades with one hand and nearly slicing Finn. Cut to Finn falling on the floor, breathing heavily and touching his bleeding chin. Finn. If we keep this up, one of us is going to die. Cut to Towani holding one of his hook swords. Mace Towani. One of us. Cut to Finn's hand open over the floor. Finn. There's no reason we should. Cut to an overhead shot of Towani standing while the lightsaber begins to move past him. Finn, continued off-screen. Kill each other. Cut to Towani looking down. Cut to the lightsaber speeding over the floor. Cut to Finn catching the lightsaber with fury in his eyes. Finn. If you're not going to end this, I will. Interior, cracked Bono Dan apartment. Open on the back view of RQ-700 standing and looking out to the not-so-distant courtyard with a chain dangling from her arm. Exterior, Bono Dan courtyard. Rose speaks to Aftab and C-3PO. Rose. Junior, take Cleary to the Lady Luck. Aftab. Aye, Captain. Cut to Aftab escorting Cleary to Lando's ship. Cut to C-3PO talking to Rose, Rose's face is obscured. C-3PO. Mistress Rose, is there anything my systems can be of use to your? Cut to the dusty floor as gold-plated metal litters the ground. Cut to an overhead shot of C-3PO's head shuttered and flattened by a morning star with a long chain. Rose. No. Cut to Rose screaming looking down before darting her head away. Cut to RQ-700 pulling and reeling back her morning star. Cut to Rose grabbing her blaster and shooting. Cut to RQ-700 doing a somersault to avoid the blaster bolt. Rose. How could you? He did nothing wrong. Cut to RQ-700 as she swings her chained morning star overhead. RQ-700. I did it for excitement. Cut to an out-of-focus RQ-700 swinging her mace with Rose in the background waiting for the moment to shoot. Cut to Rose jumping on the ground behind a lifeless tree stump and firing her blaster. Cut to RQ-700's leg being shot with a blaster bolt. Cut to Rose beginning to push herself off the ground. Cut to RQ-700 falling to the ground and launching the chain. Cut to the chain wrapping around Rose's neck once. Cut to the morning star at the end of the chain sticking to the tree stump. Cut to RQ-700 pulling at the chain more and more. Cut to Rose prying at the chain around her neck to loosen it. Cut to Rose struggling before opening her eyes wide. Cut to the back of Rose's head in profile as she pulls the chain towards her. Cut to the morning star flying out of the lifeless tree stump. Cut to the morning star landing on RQ-700's head shattering it. Cut to Rose loosening the chain off her neck looking down. Cut to Aftab running toward the camera with a thermal detonator, he stops when he realizes the threat has ended. Aftab. I didn't have a weapon on. Cut to Rose as she starts to break down into tears. Rose. Don't blame yourself, sometimes we can't save the ones we care about. Cut to Aftab looking somberly. Cut to the broken remains of C-3PO. Interior, elevator, Naboo catacombs. Rey and Poe stand awkwardly in the elevator. Poe. In case we don't make it, I want to tell you something. Rey. What's that? Poe. The elevator suddenly stops, throwing Poe and Rey on the floor. Rey picks herself up. Rey. Someone must have told Kylo about this underground base, so he cut the power to the elevator. Poe. Are you sure? And I was going to say. Cut to Rey in profile cutting into the elevator door wall with her lightsaber scorching the metal. Rey. Move back to avoid sparks. Interior. Elevator, Naboo catacombs. The elevator is wedged at the roof of the bunker as Rey's lightsaber slices through the door. Exterior. Underground bunker, Naboo catacombs. Maz Kanata looks up with a proud smile. Maz. That's her all right. Interior. Exterior. Elevator, Naboo catacombs. POV of Rey kicking out the magma hot cut in the elevator, the slab jumps out to reveal the bunker outside. Exterior. Underground bunker, Naboo catacombs. The door slab viciously crushes the cockpit of a NB-1S bomber. Cut to an upset Flan removing their welding mask to look over at the damage across the bunker. Flan. Who's suff red in the wood lady within? Cut to Poe sliding down a cable from the bunker ceiling. Cut to Rey landing on the bunker floor, she uses the force to cushion her drop. Behind her is the damaged bomber. Maz Kanata rushes to Rey and they press their foreheads together, Poe drops behind them. Poe. We can't keep you from old orange ladies, can we? Cut to Courant and Connix. Courant. That was the only bomber, we are done for. CONNIX. But we have a resistance built on the hope of a galaxy. Cut to Rey and Maz. Maz. We trust you in confronting Kylo Ren. Rey stands up. Rey. Thank you. Cut to Rey handing Poe the charger pack with BB-8 in it, Flan walks past them. Flan. Jedi aren't a problem. Cut to Pira and Gavin walking towards Rey. Rey. Sorry about the elevator and ship, I. Let fear get the best of me. Cut to Pira. Pira. You aren't alone in that. Interior, Bono Dan Pillar. Open on an overhead shot of Finn and Towani pacing in a circle waiting for each other to attack. Cut to a close-up of Towani. Cut to a close-up of Finn. Cut to Finn in profile, he's briefly distracted. Rose, earpiece. Finn. Cut to Towani leaping with his hook swords. Cut to Finn's hand. Rose. Did you find Chewie? Cut to Chewbacca in carbonite rushing to Towani and trapping his body under the weight. Towani shouts in pain after a thum. Cut to Finn with a hand to his ear. Finn. I did, and caught his kidnapper. Chewie is still intact. Cut to Finn removing Towani's helmet, Towani looks up. Rose, earpiece. I ended his friend, but I couldn't save 3PO. Cut to Finn with a sorrowful face. Cut to Towani on the ground. Towani. Just kill me. Exterior, Bono Dan courtyard. Rose holding a box with the pieces of C-3PO's head, she's stern. Rose. Do it. Interior, Bono Dan pillar. Finn looks down at Towani. Towani. I had my mission, you had yours. We all serve a master. Cut to Finn. Finn. You remind me of a man who abandoned morality for greed and self. I serve the galaxy, I will serve those who were like me. Cut to Towani coughing up some blood while shedding a tear. Mace Towani. You're better than I've become. Sindel, your big brother. Towani becomes lifeless. Cut to Finn kneeling beside Towani. Finn. Sorry it came to this. Finn stands up and uses the force to lift Chewbacca in carbonite upright. Finn. Rose, take what's left of 3PO back to a Jyn class. Me and the Wookiee are going to Naboo. Exterior, the Sindel. The Sindel flies off into the clouds. Exterior, Bono Dan courtyard. Rose looks longingly up at the sky, Aftab is behind her. Iris open wipe transition. Interior, Theed Palace pillar, night. Camera follows Rey as she walks up a staircase and she sees Kylo standing and looking through the window. Kylo. So you wish to speak with me? Cut to Rey lifting her chin and looking down at Kylo. Cut to Rey's hip and her new lightsaber behind a leather strap. Cut to Kylo looking down with dead eyes. Kylo. You didn't have respect to do another repair. Just toss the saber in a trash heap. Rey. It was welded together and it broke again. I reforged the damage, they tell me it's never too late, Ben. Cut to close-up of Kylo's eyes, one twitches when he speaks his mother's name. Kylo. Ben Solo is dead, just like General Leia. Cut to Rey jolting towards Ren while pointing her index finger towards the camera. Rey. Don't speak her name, you have bastardized everything she stood for. Cut to Ren turning away from the window and walking towards Rey. Cut to Rey looking up. When Kylo says, nurtures, he presses his gloved index finger into Rey's dimple, he then pulls it away. Kylo. You loved her, wish she was your mother growing up. Someone to nurture you and make you forget the pain. Affection is fickle. Cut to Ren with a deadpan face. Kylo, continued. But legacy is set in stone. Cut to Rey in the foreground facing away from the camera, Kylo is in the background. Rey. Why are you taking over Naboo? Kylo. Leia didn't tell you about this planet. The general was adopted, hidden from her great father. Her mother was put to rest here, Amidala's homeworld. Cut to Rey with a false smile and shedding a tear. Rey. She had pressing matters in her final years, like her only son stabbing his father and being a tyrant. Cut to Kylo Ren smirking and then pacing. Kylo. This is already a colonized land, my grandmother and her kind conquered it. My birthright is Theed. Cut to Rey stepping closer to Kylo. Rey. Says the man who told me, let the past die. Heritage is your addiction. Cut to Kylo with a furrowed brow. Kylo. A scavenger rat too ignorant. Cut to Kylo and Rey looking at each other, both in profile. Rey. You relapsed from your ideals. Kylo. You think you're so perfect. Cut to Rey, the camera slowly zooms on her face. Rey. You are one foot in nonconformity and the other in a historical fantasization. Snoke didn't give you the answers to your pain. Only. Cut to Ren's gloved hand twitching as Rey becomes louder. Rey, continued off-screen. Authoritarians would glorify conquest that. Cut to an over-the-shoulder shot of Kylo using the Force to push Rey out of the Theed Palace pillar. She sinks into the wall as the bricks crack in dust plumes. After Rey is gone, the hole in the wall makes the night sky visible, and Ren walks forward. Exterior. Waters of Theed. A heavily armored Gungan aircraft carrier rises from the sea, water splashes and drips as hundreds of white coral fighters and 3 fish-like fighters deploy in the air. Interior. Underground bunker, Theed catacombs. Flan stares through a view slit in profile. Flan. Et Jeswoodle is her. Cut to Maz Kanata. Maz. The Gungan Coral Fleet. Cut to Connix. Connix. How do we know they aren't here to help the First Order? Cut to Poe wearing a Gungan-made human flight suit. Poe. The First Order is a common enemy, an esprit de corps amongst the races. Cut to Maz nodding. Cut to Pira and Gavin. Pira. Stay here, Grandpa. Gavin. Of course. Pira climbs into the cockpit of a fighter and waves to Gavin. Cut to a wide shot of a giant wall of the underground bunker opening to allow 4 classic Naboo fighters and 1 white coral ship out. Thunder claps in the distance. Cut to Gavin exhaling with a proud smile next to Flan. Gavin. Prepare my ship, Flan. Exterior. Waters of Theed, night. A leafless tree rests on a shore with a large white serpent resting on it as heavy rainfall pours down in a storm. Cut to Rey jolting out of the water gasping for air. Cut to Kylo walking on the raised water towards Rey who's struggling to stay afloat. His heel nubs are lit up. Cut to Rey closing her eyes before placing her hand flat, but within seconds she stands on the water making it wrinkle in waves. The camera zooms out as Rey struggles to lift her body, and she stands on the uneasy water. Cut to Rey standing on the water and igniting her lightsaber. Cut to Kylo Ren with a scowl and snarling. Kylo. You will die by my hand. Cut to Rey lifting her lightsaber by her face as he cautiously crosses her footsteps and blocks the full moon, making her silhouetted side to be now illuminated by the light of her weapon. Rey. If I die, I will die protecting the light. Cut to a close-up of Kylo wincing as he struggles against the glaring moonlight and Rey's shadow. Cut to a wide shot of Kylo running across the water with his lightsaber horizontally swinging at Rey's head. She successfully ducks. Cut to Kylo and Rey's lightsabers meeting. Ren's face is furious until Rey pushes herself and her weapon away. Kylo drags the tip of his lightsaber on the surface making steam and he does a baseball-esque upward swing. Rey blocks Kylo's blows, she struggles against them. Cut to Rey's feet as she gets pushed back on the water surface. Cut to Rey's eyes quickly glancing back, still being pushed. Cut to the half-submerged palace pillar. Kylo pushes Rey to the pillar, but Rey runs backwards up the side and leaps above Kylo's head. And then she strikes, falling and their sabers meet, she lands perfectly. Cut to Kylo using his free hand and force pushing Rey, making her skid across the surface of the water. Cut to Rey and Kylo at a distance. The N1 fighter and TIE fighter battle is visible in the sky above them. Cut to the N1 flown by Gavin Sykes shooting a proton torpedo. Cut to the astromech seat to show R2-C4. Exterior, waters of Theed. The proton torpedo rushes to Kylo but he stops it in the air and pushes it back. Exterior, Gavin's Naboo fighter cockpit. As Gavin closes his eyes and smiles, the proton torpedo reflects on the cockpit window. After a second the ship explodes in fire. Interior, Pira's Naboo fighter cockpit. Pira looks to her bottom left with lip quivering. She turns to the camera and cries with her eyes shut tight. Pira. Why didn't you listen? Exterior, waters of Theed. Ant's eye view of the ship exploding overhead. Cut to Rey standing firmly at a distance, lighting strikes behind her. Interior, Theed Palace. Asbel stands defiantly waving a resistance flag as former stormtroopers run and shoot their blasters. Cut to a wide shot of a First-Order Widowmaker tank violently dropping through the building's glass dome. Glass shards end up everywhere and the marble floor cracks loudly. The Widowmaker is a black arachnoid tank with a turret. Cut to the Widowmaker tank's red eye lens focusing and humming. Cut to an overhead shot of the Widowmaker's turret turning. Cut to an ant's eye view of Asbel sprinting and cowering behind a marble pillar. The Widowmaker fires a barrage of lasers that begin to eat round chunks out of the marble. Exterior, waters of Theed. Wide shot of Rey and Kylo standing on the water's horizon. Cut to Rey holding her lightsaber close with both hands and pointing it across in anticipation. The camera is at a Dutch angle. Cut to Rey running at Kylo in profile, swinging her lightsaber down and missing him. Both of their weapons meet. Cut to Kylo swinging his lightsaber downward. Cut to a close-up of Kylo's lightsaber leaving a single tear in her pants and black scar on her calf. Cut to a defiant Rey winching as she pulls her lightsaber after being struck. The camera is at a Dutch angle. Cut to the water with increasingly less rain ravaging it. Camera rises to a furious Kylo standing on the water while holding his lightsaber up with both hands. He slowly pulls it closer before rapidly turning the crossguard handle out of profile. Cut to Rey and Kylo running to each other before their lightsabers meeting. Rey blocks and holds her blade horizontally while Kylo pushes down. Cut to Kylo screaming. Cut to Kylo Ren's lightsaber pushing Rey down to her knees. Cut to Kylo's saber searing her shoulder as she grunts. Cut to a Rey scowling behind her yellow blade. Cut to Rey and Kylo staring down each other. Rey turns her lightsaber so she can also cut at his shoulder. They yell and grunt at one another. Cut to them pulling away and Rey stumbling on the water surface. Cut to Kylo angrily panting. Cut to Rey lowering her and unignited her lightsaber. Rey. You killed your father, Leia passed from a grief-stricken spirit. The mirrors of legacy are so painful. You destroy them. Cut to Kylo's hand as it turns off his lightsaber and he stores it in his belt. Kylo. Enough. Cut to Kylo kneeling on the surface of the water to touch it. Cut to a close-up of Rey looking down. Cut to Rey's hand holding her unignited lightsaber that is covered in water droplets. The weapon is pointed down. Cut to an overhead shot of Ren raising an OPC killer from the water behind Rey. Cut to a slow-motion shot of the terrifying OPC killer arcing in the air. Cut to Rey turning around with a petrified face. Cut to the OPC killer's giant mouth opening, showing its numerous razor-sharp teeth. Cut to the shadow of the beast engulfing Rey. Cut to the OPC killer plunging into the water making a large splash. Rey is nowhere to be seen. Cut to Kylo running his hand on his head and his lip quivering. Cut to Kylo falling to his knees on the water floor and then screaming in agony. Afterwards there is silence. Cut to Ren looking at his clear reflection in the water. A tear trickles and makes the surface ring. General Leia, replayed audio off screen. If you see our son, bring him home. Cut to Kylo kneeling. The camera turns right to reveal vision of Han Solo behind Kylo Ren. Han sits cross-legged as he peers at the surface of the water ahead of his son. Han. You just gone let her drown, kid. Cut to Kylo's face begins to quiver. Kylo. You're not real. Cut to Han facing Ren's profile with a slightly somber look. Han. She's the last person you care about who's alive. It isn't too late to do the right thing. Cut to Kylo turning his head to vision Han with watery eyes. Kylo. Dad. Cut to Han Solo smirking faintly. Han. I know. Cut to BACKVIEW of Kylo standing in a wide shot. Cut to the OPC killer being launched out of the water. The sea killer lands on the water like a hard surface, the creature is dead, leaking green blood. The green blood doesn't sink, it stays on top of the water like oil. Cut to Rey's blurry POV of being carried in Kylo's arms. Cut to a shot of Rey barely conscious on the muddy shore, she coughs up water. Rey is partially covered in green blood and mud. Rey turns on her side and the camera slowly zooms out to show that Ben left his saber in the mud in the foreground. Cut to the changed man, Ben walks away from the camera. Interior, Corran's Ma Wing cockpit. Corran smiles while piloting. Corran. Look at us, in the Gungan Alliance. Interior, Marax's Rey Wing cockpit. Marax dodges blaster fire that zips past her window. Corran. Honey, keep an eye on the kid. Interior, Yolo's Mi Wing cockpit. Yolo squints as shadows shift in his cockpit. Yolo. I'm 28. Corran, off-screen. Like I said, the kid. Interior, Marax's Rey Wing cockpit. Marax turns her head when she speaks. Marax. Don't tease him, wait. Above, 3 TIEs. Exterior, Sky of Theed. 3 TIE fighters charge towards Yolo's ship one by one. Corran. Pull up. Interior, Yolo's Mi Wing cockpit. Close up on Yolo as he looks up and grins. Yolo. Ah, this is where it gets tricky. Cut to Yolo's POV, we see his hands on the controls inside and distant TIEs from his foggy cockpit window. After he wipes away the condensation, the window is blasted through by lasers and the window shatters. Interior, Marax's Rey Wing cockpit. Marax has a distraught look, she tries not to cry. Marax. Lieutenant Yolo Zif. Exterior, Waters of Theed. Yolo's Mi Wing goes down in black smoke, leaving a trail that goes behind the city of Theed. Exterior, Poe's Naboo fighter cockpit. Poe flies in the white Naboo fighter cockpit with BB-8 over his head. Poe. Come on buddy, this is far from our craziest battle. BB-8. Beeps. I miss the base. Poe. I can relate. Exterior, the Paramount-C. Poe's ship zips by cannons of the belly of the Paramount-C Star Destroyer and shoots down a TIE fighter. Interior, Poe's Naboo fighter cockpit. Poe in the cockpit laughs with relief in profile. Poe. That was a close one. We'll make it home, BB. Exterior, Astromech seat, Poe's Naboo fighter. BB-8's head turns upward. BB-8. Beeps repeatedly. I have a date waiting on me, my boyfriend reserved a holoplay night. Interior, Poe's Naboo fighter cockpit. Poe briefly shakes his head and squints in confusion. Poe. You have a date tonight with your boyfriend. What the, who? Exterior, Astromech seat, Poe's Naboo fighter. BB-8. Beeps and grunts proudly. 2BB2, it's been 4 years. Cut to Poe's white Naboo fighter barrel rolling through black smoke. Poe, off-screen. Huh, 4 years with 2BB2. Int, Poe's Naboo fighter cockpit. Poe winces while shifting the control sticks, occasionally he is lit green when he barely evades TIE laser blasts. Poe. I've been outdone romantically by my droid. I was with all kinds of folk before the war. Exterior, Poe's Naboo fighter cockpit. Poe's ship shoots at TIE fighters in front of him at a distance before the ship turns and bolts a few feet from the camera. Poe, off-screen. When are you going to tie the circuit? Exterior, Connix's Naboo fighter, the Paramount-C. Connix races over the Star Destroyer while being pursued by 2 TIE echelons, each shooting out a missile that follows her. Interior, Connix's Naboo fighter cockpit. Connix looks over her shoulder up above her head. Connix. Oh no. Exterior, Connix's Naboo fighter, the Paramount-C. Back view of Connix's ships being chased by TIE missiles. Cut to Connix's ship firing a proton torpedo at the command center of the Paramount-C that creates a cloud of gray smoke. Then Connix's ship and the missiles fly to the smoke. Cut to an overhead tracking shot of Connix's ship flying, ducking, and spinning over the Paramountcy while the missiles miss and explode. Connix's ship fades in and out of the smoke. Then Connix's ship flies out of frame before transitioning to a back view tracking shot of 2 missiles that follow her out of the smoke into the belly of the ship. Interior: Connix's Naboo fighter cockpit. Connix's ship is upside down, blood rushes to her face and her hair dangles towards the top of the cockpit. Exterior: Connix's Naboo fighter, the Paramountcy. Connix's ship spins past the 2 TIE echelons before the missiles that they had fired hit them and they explode. Interior: Theed courtyard. Explosions and smoke can be seen in the sky above the courtyard. Cut to Asbel kneeling on the ground with dozens of defecting stormtrooper rebels, they all have white sacks over their heads. Cut to a female Heptunian First Order known as Commander Shocken holding the Finn Band rebel flag, she drops it on the ground. Commander Shocken. A pitiful band indeed, you thought you could defeat the greatest military. Cut to the covered face of Asbel in profile. Asbel. Joining a rebellion was the only day we felt powerful. Cut to an overhead shot of Commander Shocken and a flank of stormtroopers. Cut to Asbel's 4-year-old daughter named Carm running tearfully to her father. Asbel. Powerful by helping the defenseless. Carm. Daddy. Asbel. Go back to bed, Carm. Cut to Commander Shocken smiling deviously. Commander Shocken. Fire. Cut to the stormtroopers holding their blasters forward before slowly lowering them. Commander Shocken, off-screen. Shoot. Cut to Commander Shocken throwing her arms with fury. Commander Shocken. Shoot, shoot scum. Cut to a stormtrooper. Cut to Shocken being shot in the chest and falling down. Cut to the smoking barrel of a blaster pointed at the camera by a blurry individual, then the focus switches to reveal Finn as the shooter. Cut to Finn removing the sack off Asbel's head. Cut to a knife cutting the rope on Asbel's wrists. Cut to Absol hugging his weeping daughter. Asbel. Finn, you're a true hero. Cut to Asbel's hand grabbing Finn's to lift him up, both of their wrists have cloaked binary beacons. Cut to Finn. Finn. Take refuge with your daughter. You were right, I am worthy to lead. Cut to Asbel holding his daughter and walking away. Cut to a defecting Nogai stormtrooper without a helmet. Defecting stormtrooper. We'll follow you, we are all Finn. Cut to all of the former stormtroopers in the area kneeling. Cut to Finn raising his arm-length blaster above his head triumphantly. Exterior: Sky of Theed. Kurant's Naboo fighter charges, flying next to a Ray wing. Interior: Zinga's Ray wing cockpit. The Otola Gungan Zinga gives a salute and a smiling nod in profile. Zinga. Bravo 2, Yusa great. Interior: Kurant's Naboo fighter cockpit. Kurant turns his head. Kurant. I never thought I'd fly alongside a Gungan. Exterior: Kurant's Naboo fighter. The ship's astromech turns to speak. R2A6. Beeps. End the First Order. Exterior: Sky of Theed. Kurant's ship nears the city of Theed when a red elite Triada TIE follows. Kurant. Give me a break, they deployed Triada TIEs. Interior: Triada elite TIE cockpit. A Triada TIE pilot flies the ship. Cut to the targeting screen of the ship's dashboard, Kurant is in the scope. Exterior: Kurant's Naboo fighter. A green laser bolt cuts the backtail of his ship and destroys R2A6, the fighter begins to go down in smoke. Interior: Exterior: Kurant's Naboo fighter. Kurant frantically unfastens himself from the seat while the cockpit opens, the ship is still rushing downward. Cut to Kurant's foot getting caught in a gear on the floor of the cockpit, he desperately tries to pull it away. Cut to Kurant gritting his teeth as his dreads willow in the turbulent air. Cut to the floor of the cockpit with Kurant's foot, just a shoe left stuck in a gear. Interior: Waters of Theed. Kurant plunges into the sea. Exterior: Waters of Theed. Kurant gasps for air when emerging to the surface. Exterior: Theed hangar, First Order construction platform. Finn, Asbel, and the other defecting stormtroopers traverse through the rubble. Asbel carries Carm in his arms. Finn. Your daughter will be safer on the Falcon. Cut to the Millennium Falcon covered in dust. Cut to the Finn band running towards the Falcon landing ramp before being startled by a loud noise. Cut to the Widowmaker tank walking analogous to the group. Cut to Asbel and Karm with terrified faces, camera pans right to Finn with his eyes narrowed. Cut to a back view of Finn standing up in the foreground as the Widowmaker tank's barrel turns towards him. Cut to Finn holding up his lit lightsaber as Absol runs into the Falcon while carrying Karm. Cut to Karm watching intently. Cut to the red lens of the Widowmaker tank making noise. Cut to a close-up of Finn's eyes. Cut to a Naboo fighters zipping through the sky firing a proton torpedo. Cut to the Widowmaker tank becoming hot, the proton torpedo burns and the tank explodes. Interior, Maz's Naboo fighter. Maz Kanata pumps her fist victoriously in her cockpit. Maz. I got one. Exterior, feed hangar, first order construction platform. Finn looks up at the sky perplexed before standing proud, turning off his lightsaber and turning away from the camera. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Finn quickly moves onto the pilot's seat and he attempts to turn on the ship, but the engine groans as it fails. Finn peers up to the window. Exterior, feed sky. Hundreds of TIE fighters soar through the air blasting Gungan fighters in their wake. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Finn throws his head onto the steering, hit by frustration and lack of hope. Finn begins to look up as a shadow forms over him. Finn smiles softly at the sight. Exterior, feed sky. A barrage of resistance ships exiting hyperspace appear including the Lady Luck. After a few seconds there is a flurry of aerial combat. Interior, the Lady Luck. Lando laughs gleefully while piloting his ship with Rose. Lando. Now this is a true battle. Exterior, the Lady Luck, feed sky. Lando's ship swerves through a sea of TIE fighter while the cannons take out dozens. Interior, the Lady Luck. Cut to Aftab struggling to push carbonite-encased Chewbacca from falling on him, Cleary uses her strength to hold it still. Cut to Aftab laughing sheepishly. Cut to Lando speaking to a comm. Lando. What happened to Towani's ship, Finn? Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Finn scoffs and gives a false smile, there's a shame that resides in him for killing and robbing Towani. Finn. Pink's not my color. Exterior, Naboo swamplands. Ben stumbles in the deep foggy swamplands while crying, the sun is rising behind him. Cut to an overhead shot of Ben pulling off the last bit of his armor to sink into the murky water. Cut to Ben looking up. Cut to Dr. Jegs on a Falumpasset in stomach-high water. Cut to a Dr. Jegs getting off her Falumpasset. Ben. I murdered your son, you should kill me, I don't deserve to live. Cut to Dr. Jegs hugging Ben. Cut to Dr. Jegs on her Falumpasset, she waves for Ben to follow. Cut to the back of Ben walking through the swamp. Cut to a close-up of Ben's face pausing. Cut to Force Ghost Luke appearing. Cut to Ben's face with furrowed brows, the more he speaks the more he feels shame. Ben. Why doesn't she hate me? I can't be redeemed for the suffering I've caused. I'm a mistake, a monster of the dark side. Cut to Ghost Luke looking at his nephew, Ben's head is faced away from the camera. Ghost Luke. Hate and revenge can only be cured by love and empathy. You let go of the anger. Cut to Ben as the camera turns to his Spectre uncle. Ghost Luke, off-screen. You chose not to be a monster. Help her and help yourself, balance. Ben wipes away his tears and he continues walking in the water. Ben. But what about the disdain for the harm I caused, the nightmarish regime I led? Cut to Ben's murky reflection in the water. Ben, continued. For years, I can't be seen. Cut to a wide shot of Ghost Luke walking behind the sad Ben. Ghost Luke. You won't, Dr. Jegs lost her son, and her husband. Cut to Ben looking up with realization while still crying. Ben. He was a human like me. Cut to Ghost Luke with a warm smile. Ghost Luke. Being by her side will bring you stability. Cut to Ben stumbling and sloshing in the high water, he is submerged to his shoulders. He looks up and exhales, Ben forgives himself and he forgives his uncle. Ben. I will. Cut to Ghost Luke looking down. Ghost Luke. Events in our lives have consequences that ripple through the lives of others. Exterior, waters of Theed. The Paramountcy is besieged by Gungan aircraft carrier cannon fire and bombing from various resistance ships. It buckles, catches on fire, and lands in the water below. Exterior, Theed courtyard, day. Camera slowly pans left to right on stormtrooper helmets that litter the ground, some broken and burned. Interior, clinical bed, Millennium Falcon. Rey slowly wakes up on the Millennium Falcon. She finds herself lying with various rectangular white bandages on her body and head. She also wears a soft blue shirt and pants. Rey lifts herself so she can sit up. She looks across the room. Cut to a back view of Rey as she winces and touches her temple. Cut to a close-up of Rey's nervous face. She senses the force. Then, off-screen. Rey. Then. Exterior, Jeg's farm, day. Ben stands in a white robe, wearing Padme's Japor snippet necklace, cast in sunlight and with his eyes watering. Ben. I'm sorry for my past. Interior, clinical bed, Millennium Falcon. Rey has sorrowful eyes when she pauses. Exterior, Jeg's farm, day. Ben looks forward with a kind smile and a tear falling down his face. Ben. Thank you for my present. Interior, clinical bed, Millennium Falcon. Rey exhales with her eyes closed. It's a serene breath. After a quiet moment, Rey gets off the bed with some difficulty. Interior, Millennium Falcon hallway. Rey's bare feet wobbly walk past a nest of corgs wedged in a crevice of the ship. White bandages are on her legs too. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. The cockpit door opens to Rey holding her ribs. She stumbles in. Rose is piloting through hyperspace with Chewbacca by her side. Cut to Rose glancing over her shoulder to Rey. Rose. Oh, Rey, you're up. It took a while to get to you. Lando allowed me to pick you up. Cut to Rey plopping down in the seat behind Chewbacca. Rey. Hey. Cut to Rose with a sad look. Rose. Hi Rey. C-3PO didn't make it when we went to save Chewie. Cut to Chewbacca in profile with his head down. Cut to Rey wiping a tear. Rey. I wish I spent more time with him, just like everybody else they'll be in my heart. Cut to Chewbacca looking up in profile. Cut to Rose in the pilot's chair and Rey behind her. Rose presses a few buttons next to her seat. Rey. Is anyone else on the Falcon? Rose. Just us. I bandaged you and removed your soaked clothes. The camera turns to Rey. Rey. You saw me naked. Cut to Rose looking forward and biting her bottom lip. Rose. I'm not some creep, Rey. Cut to Chewbacca dramatically throwing his arms above him. Chewbacca. Roars in frustration. I still can't see. Cut to Rey, Rose, and Chewbacca. Rose. I told you that your vision will return in a while. Hibernation sickness is real, big guy. Cut to Rose looking over her shoulder facing the camera. Rose. It's good to see you're mobile. Your boyfriend was worried sick. Cut to Rey tittering with a faint scowl and smirk. Rey. Boyfriend. Cut to Rose. Rose. Don't be naive, Poe cried thinking we'd lost you and you didn't contact him. Cut to Rey's comm on the seafloor of Naboo. Rose, continued off-screen. He didn't know the comm fell. Cut to Rey smiling sweetly. Rose, off-screen. You're more precious to him than the Ark of Ryloth is. Cut to Chewbacca throwing his arms in the air before Rose points at him like a strict parent. Chewbacca. Whiny roar. This isn't fair. Rose. Chewie, suck it up, you're 200 years old. Cut to Rey laughing at them. Cut to Rose with a stressed straight mouth and narrowed eyes. Rose. So Rey, is Kylo Ren dead? Cut to Rey with her eyes closed and a calm demeanor. Rey. Kylo is gone forever. Cut to Rose looking down thinking, Rose knew well enough Rey didn't kill the man. Rey chose her words carefully. Exterior, a Jyn Kloss resistance base, day. Ant's eye view of the Millennium Falcon slowly landing, spewing steam and making nearby jungle foliage flap. Fireworks explode in the sky and various resistance ships fly in the background. Cut to the bandaged Jedi looking up with awe as she begins to sit on an extended bench that is longer than the screen. Camera zooms out to the whole bench. Poe is on the other end. Cut to Rey examining the scar left from the Oppo Darai fang bite implanted halfway up her arm. She smiles at it, accepting that darkness is always there. Cut to Poe in profile before turning and looking at the ground. Cut to Finn and Rose holding hands in front of a troop transport as it opens and lets out various alien resistance fighters. Finn and Rose kiss each other. Cut to Rose smiling and winking. Rose. Took you long enough. Cut to Finn and Rose looking at each other in profile. Finn. You've always been there for me. Rose. Sorry about trying to get you to kill that bounty hunter. That wasn't. Cut to Finn in profile. Finn. Temptation, hate is natural but ugly. Cut to Poe with his head turned with a faint longing look in profile, then he looks forward. Cut to BB-8 rolling around 2BB-2 excitedly. 2BB-2. Fluctuating beeps. Come here, dearie. Cut to Poe scoffing with a smile and gently shaking his head. Poe. Hey Ray, did you know that Lieutenant Ahmad opened a bar on base? Cut to Ray with a mildly surprised look. Ray. Really? Cut to Poe's POV looking at the floor and twiddling his thumbs. Poe. To unwind, no grudges or saviors. Wait, I'm not sure what the Jedi rules on drinking alcohol are. Cut to Ray smiling sweetly. Ray. I'd love to. Exterior, Resistance Base, Ajin Class, dusk. BB-8 can be found rolling on the jungle floor and finding a frozen R2-D2. BB-8 taps his head on R2-D2's body, but R2 does nothing. BB-8 beeps happily. Hey R2. Cut to a shot of R2-D2 unmoved. Connix walks by and she places her hand on R2's head after kneeling. Connix. I don't think he'll attend a party. C-3PO meant so much. Horizontal fall transition wipe. Exterior, bunker, Ajin Class fire pit, night. A rectangular bunker sits in the distance with one sidewall missing and orange light inside emanating. Rain pours on the rainforest. Interior, exterior, bunker, Ajin Class fire pit, night. The fire pit's glow lands on Rey in profile. Camera pans down to Rey holding Ren's lightsaber in her hands. Cut to a close-up of Rey as she looks down. Cut to Rey tossing the saber in the roaring fire. Cut to Ren's saber deteriorating and melting in the hot flame. Cut to Rey with a bittersweet smile. Right to left diagonal rise wipe transition. Exterior, Yago Minor, space. The soft violet moon is partially eclipsed by the sun. Exterior, Adobe Sanctuary, Yago Minor, sunset. The camera pans from the sky to the Millennium Falcon parked. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Close-up on Lando's hand putting aside his cane so he can touch the pilot's seat. The camera pans up to Lando's content face. Cut to Ahsoka standing at the entrance, her left hand is wrapped around her white staff and the other is touching the door frame. Ahsoka. I wish I could see it. Cut to Lando turning in profile to see Ahsoka. Ahsoka. My young apprentice told me it's quite battle-wrecked. Cut to Ahsoka sitting across from Lando who rests on the dashboard. General Lando. The damage is just part of her charm. Ahsoka. Her. Cut to Lando pointing at the camera with a faint smile. General Lando. The ship literally has the mind of a woman, more intuitive. Cut to Ahsoka faintly smiling. Ahsoka. Maybe. Iris open wipe transition. Exterior. Polis Massa Research Base, Polis Massa. Open to a shot of the asteroid with its various buildings. Interior. Leia's Memorial Service, Polis Massa Auditorium. Cut to an overhead shot that shows the entire Resistance wearing bright white clothes sitting for the memorial service. Camera lowers slowly until it shows R2-D2 being used as a projector next to Leia's urn on a pedestal. Leia, replayed audio off-screen. I've placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion in the memory systems of this R2 unit. Cut to a blue video projection on a black wall of older footage of Leia, starting with when Leia consoled Luke on the Falcon after Obi-Wan's death. Luke, replayed audio. I can't believe he's gone. Cut to Lando holding hands with Wyndham Marstrap. Wyndham is an older lady with a silver buzz cut. Leia, replayed audio off-screen. There wasn't anything you could have done. Cut to Poe smiling humorously next to Rey. Leia, replayed audio off-screen. I don't know where you get your delusions from, laser brain. Cut to the video projection to when enslaved Leia had R2 break her chain. Leia, replayed audio off-screen. Let's get out of here. Cut to Finn and Rose looking up. Cleary and other Bono Danites sit behind them. Finn wears a white Jedi robe. Han, replayed audio off-screen. I love you. Cut to Chewbacca, Maz, Pira and Courant. Maz nuzzles Chewbacca. Leia, replayed audio off-screen. I know. Cut to the projection to when Leia asked about the map to Luke. Leia, replayed audio. Tell me. Video projection changes to Leia after surviving crate. Leia, replayed audio. We have everything we need. Cut to Connix wiping her tears next to Corrin and Marax. Cut to R2-D2 as the projector light goes out. Cut to Asbel holding his daughter, Carm in his arms. Carm waves her hands. Cut to Finn nodding, acknowledging the little girl. Cut to Rey exiting out of the auditorium. Cut to BB-8 turning his head up to Poe. Poe looks down with worry. Interior. Polis Massa Colonnade. Rey sits alone wearing an astronaut suit at an open window of a hallway that connects to the rest of the base. Cut to Rey in profile as her eyes water behind her scratched visor. Exterior. Polis Massa Colonnade. We have a front-facing view of Rey at the window with her legs dangling over the floor. Poe in an astronaut uniform walks to Rey, he then sits down next to Rey. Cut to a close-up of Poe with his brow furrowed. Interior. Polis Massa Colonnade. Back view of the two characters. Rey places her hand on Poe's. Cut to Rey and Poe as Poe glances down and looks upward. Exterior. Polis Massa Colonnade. Wide shot of Rey and Poe sitting at the hallway edge in front of a gorgeous turquoise nebula over the horizon of the asteroid. Iris out to black. End credits.